A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
The Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation brings you Crime Photographer.
Casey, I found this sheet of paper with typewriting all over it.
What does it say?
Well, it's funny, just the same thing over and over. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
Well?
Is that a code of some kind?
No, that's what beginners write for practice.
Well, why don't they write something that makes sense?
Like what?
Like Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, and its more than 10,000 employees bring you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Our adventure for tonight, murder in black and white. Morning, a wooded glen in a vast city park, and on the still frost-hardened ground there lies a dead man. Detectives move methodically about the body. Beside it kneels a police surgeon. Watching him is Captain Logan of the Homicide Bureau, Ann Williams, reporter, and the man with the press camera is Casey.
Aren't you almost finished, Casey?
Yeah, Annie. Thanks for letting me take these shots of the deceased, Logan. I'll do you a favor someday.
You can do me a favor right now, Casey. You too, Miss Williams. Go back to your paper and let us cops get our work done. Hey, Doc, can you tell yet how long ago this guy died?
About 2 o'clock this morning, Captain. The bullet that killed him was fired at close range, still lodged in the skull. My guess is that it's a .32.
The slug couldn't have been given to a more deserving guy.
What do you mean, Casey?
You know who this stiff is, don't you?
He has no identification on
You
him.
should know him. He almost became middleweight champ a few years ago, fighting under the name of Tug Loftus.
Say, you're right. I make him now.
A moment ago, Annie, this lug told us to go peddle our paper.
Oh, nuts. Hey, this Tug Loftus was a troublemaker, wasn't he? Always getting into jams.
Yeah, he was an all-around heel. Tug Loftus' idea of a good time was to pick barroom fights with guys who didn't recognize him and then beat him to a pulp.
Which means he had quite a few enemies.
Yeah, that makes things just dandy.
Well, that implies you haven't found any leads to the killer, Captain.
Not a one, Miss Williams. Except this book of matches.
Book of matches?
That was in his pocket.
It's got an ad on it for the Briarwold Casino.
And only 2 matches torn out of it, which may indicate that the Briarwold was the last place he was in before he came here and was bumped off.
Where's the Briarwold?
That's a roadhouse out on Old Turnpike run by Jake Salwood and his cousin Lou, Annie.
Who do quite a little bookmaking in connection with their cafe business.
Yeah, that's right. You know, we met the Salwins last year, Ann, remember? We got a report that the safe in their joint had been robbed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they denied the report. To the cops as well as to us. They said no one had touched their safe.
Yeah, Lieutenant Schwartz of the robbery squad told me about that. He figured the 2 Salwins denied the robbery because the safe had contained a lot of horse betters' dough they couldn't explain as cafe income.
Yeah, the Briarwold Casino is just the kind of a joint Tug Loftus would patronize. Say, when are you going out there, Logan?
Right away. There's nothing more I can do here.
You're going to have company, pal. Annie, let's go.
Hey, Walter, fix Mr. Snodgrass one of his specials. You know, with the little piece of pineapple in it? Oh, dear, that guy. Tell me, Casey, what did you and Miss Williams find out at the Briarwold Casino?
Nothing, Ethelbert, nothing. Except that Tug Loftus was in the joint only a few hours before he was killed.
Nobody there remembers him leaving with anyone who might have taken him to Lakeside Park and shot him.
Now, I wouldn't believe anything Big Jake Selwyn said or his cousin Lou.
And neither would Captain Logan. He questioned everyone who works in the place.
They all agreed Loftus left there alone?
Yeah, they just don't remember.
Well, had he picked any fights there before he left?
Nobody had on other nights.
Since that matchbook was the only clue, it don't sound like this murder will be easy to solve. How about that bullet that killed the guy?
Doesn't match up with any gun that ballistics has on record.
Well, we better get back to the office, Casey.
Yeah, the city desk will be paging us if we don't. Uh-oh, that may be them now.
I'll see. Blue Note Cafe, Ethelbert, the bartender speaking. Yeah, Casey's right here. Just a minute.
I knew it.
It ain't your city desk, Casey. It's one of the photographers in your department. That fella, Shapiro?
Oh, yeah, give it.
Shapiro.
Hello, Shap. Who? No, I don't know any Mrs. McCluskey. What? Oh, yeah, I remember her now. A couple of years ago. She was a witness in a hit-and-run case. Yeah? All right, tell her to wait. I'll be right over. Thank you, Shap. So long.
What is it, Casey?
Old gal I met on a hit-and-run killing says she has something hot for me.
Oh, you mean a tip?
Yeah, probably about something unimportant. But come on, Annie, we'll see.
I've got evidence of a murder, Mr. Casey.
A murder, Mrs. McCluskey?
In black and white.
Oh, well, that sounds very interesting. Tell me what you got.
First, Mr. Casey, what do I get?
What, you mean,
Since I described that hit-and-run automobile to the cops a couple of years ago and got nothing for it, I found out that newspapers pay for what they call scoops. You was nice to me, Mr. Casey, so I'm giving you and your paper first chance. How much?
Well, it all depends on what you have to offer.
You interested in catching the murderer of that prize fighter, Tug Loftus?
Tug Loftus?
I got a picture of the killing, miss.
What a picture.
Casey.
Is it worth $100 to your paper?
Well, I'll say, City Desk sets the price for exclusive tips, Mrs. McCluskey, but I'll guarantee you $100 if you've got what you say you have.
I've got it.
Well, let's see it.
I get the 100?
You get the 100 if.
All right. This here envelope was in my mailbox this morning, so naturally I opened it. Later, when I put my glasses on, I seen the address is mine, but the name ain't mine.
It's addressed to Mr. Max Treaty. 121 3rd Street.
121 3rd Street is where I live, but no Max Treaty lives there.
Well, go on.
Well, inside the envelope was just this here camera snapshot. Nothing else.
Annie, look.
That's Loftus, as we saw him lying in that park.
I knew that from the picture you had of him in yesterday's paper.
Standing over Loftus is a guy with a gun in his hand.
And he's just killed the fighter.
That's the way it looks. It's a good profile shot of the killer, Ann. The face is clear even in this small print, and when I blow it up...
It's worth $100, ain't it, Mr.
It's
Casey?
worth $100, Mrs. McCluskey.
I said I had evidence in black and white.
Now, who do you suppose took that picture, Casey? And why?
That's something we'll think about later. But I'll bet it was taken with an infrared flash bulb.
A black light?
Yep. The guy with the gun didn't see any flash. He didn't know that somebody was taking this picture. We've got to find this skinny, long-nosed guy with a gun, you know it?
The cops will do that when we show them this.
Sure, yes, and probably crab our exclusive. Before the cops learn anything about this, Annie, we're going to try to find him.
How?
Well, the picture, the guy this picture was addressed to ought to give us a hint.
Well, Casey, he may be the killer. This picture may have been addressed to him as the first step in a blackmail scheme.
Now, Annie, you're cooking on all burners. Let me see that envelope again.
Yeah?
Addressed to Max Treaty, 121 3rd Street.
And the sender had the wrong address because Mrs. McCluskey lives there.
And I live alone.
Well, I'll look in the phone book.
Yeah, do
Maybe
that.
Treaty's listed.
You said you got this in the morning mail, Mrs. McCluskey?
That's right. I wanted time to do some thinking.
Yeah, about whether to put the B on us for that $100, huh?
You said yourself it's worth it.
Oh, I'm not reneging on that.
I've heard $1,000 rewards being offered for murderers, but in order to get it, you had to capture them yourself.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
So I figured...
Hey, Casey, Max Treaty is in the phone book.
Let me see it.
Yeah, he lives on 3rd Street, all right, see? But his address is given here as 727.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like 121 on this envelope because this guy writes sevens that look like ones. That's something else for us to think about later.
Well, let's call on Max Treaty.
Right now, Ann.
When do I get my 100?
There'll be a check in the mail for you tomorrow morning, Mrs. McCluskey, for 200.
200?
Yep, and thanks, and so long.
$200. Drat it. I bet I should have asked for more.
Max Treaty lives in a pretty good-looking apartment house, Casey.
Yeah, must be in the dough. Let's go in, Annie. Glass doors, no?
It's a funny neighborhood. Only a few blocks away where Mrs. McCluskey lives. There's nothing but tenements and little old one-family houses.
No, there's the elevator. The operator may be able to give us a line on this guy. We're looking for Mr. Max Treaty.
Oh, he's top floor, apartment 12F.
Take us up, will you, please?
Okay. But he may not be in. I haven't seen him this evening.
We'll take a chance. We're not sure this Mr. Treaty is the one we're looking for. Can you tell us what business he's in?
I don't think he's in any business, mister.
Well, you mean he has an income and doesn't have to work?
I really don't know. I'm not the kind who pries into the personal affairs of tenants.
Oh, that's right. You don't look that type. How long has he lived here?
Oh, about 8 or 9 months. Took a sublease on a furnished apartment. Does that tell you if he's the man you're looking for?
Well, not quite, no. Is he a skinny guy, about 35 with a long nose?
That's Mr. Treaty.
We've come to the right place, then.
Oh, here's the top floor. Apartment 12F is the last door to your right.
Thank you, pal.
Well, you're quite welcome.
Casey, the man in that picture is skinny and has a long nose.
Yeah, the elevator guy says that description fits Treaty. All right, here's 12F. I'll buzz the bell.
If he's the killer, he'll be dangerous. What do we do?
You have no reason to think we're on to it.
Yeah. Nobody answers the bell. The elevator man said he hadn't seen him this evening.
I don't hear any sound from inside. I'll try the bell again.
Casey.
Huh?
Look, there under the door.
Holy...
It looks like blood.
That is blood. Seep through from the other side. I'm getting into that apartment.
Door's locked.
This little strip of celluloid we burglars always carry.
You can flip it?
I think so. This is only a spring latch. There. All right, come on.
Casey, there on the floor.
I know, I see it. Let me close this door. We don't want any visitors here. No.
It's the man in that picture, Treaty.
He's been beaten on the head.
He's
been dead for a couple of hours, I think. Body's almost cold, and this pool of blood is dry around the edges.
His clothes have been searched. And the apartment.
I'll say. He and this joint have been practically ripped apart.
Oh, isn't this just swell? We came here hoping to crack one murder, and now we've got another.
Yes. There's no black and white evidence to show who pulled this one.
But I tell you can't say that. It's a secret.
Look, secret or not, I'm going to tell it even if I get fired.
But look...
Look. Some secrets are too good to keep, and besides...
Hey, we're on the air now.
Okay, here goes. Friends, I've just had a sneak preview of the brand new Ivory Fire King oven glass. It's terrific. For the very first time in history, they've produced oven glass that's beautiful, rich, warm ivory in color through and through. And it's even guaranteed against oven breakage for 2 long years. You've never seen such beautifully designed oven glass before. Classic lines, simple, dignified, as beautiful as any table china you could wish for, and rich, lovely, opaque ivory in color.
You've done it. The cat's out of the bag.
Well, I'll have to add that lovely new Ivory Fire King oven glass isn't on sale everywhere as yet, but it will be soon, and it's worth watching and waiting for.
Oh, well, haven't you something else to say?
Oh, yes. Friends, beautiful new Ivory Fire King oven glass is a product of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass.
We've got to call the cops, Casey.
Take it easy. Have a look around first.
You've already looked around. The murderer isn't hiding here waiting.
No, he probably made his getaway right after he socked this guy for the last time. My friend Treaty took quite a beating before he was finally knocked off.
How can you tell that?
Look at the black and blue marks on him. Guy's got to be alive to bruise. Marks around his wrists and ankles. He's been tied up quite a while.
Yeah, I see.
Apparently, the killer tried to make him tell where something was hidden. He wouldn't or couldn't tell, so the killer searched him.
And how he searched. All the stuffing's been pulled out of the chairs and the mattress has been ripped open.
Treaty's clothes got it going over, too. Linings cut, the soles of his shoes all split. Hey, this must be the stuff that was taken out of him and examined. Look at that wallet, fountain pen, cigarette case, revolver.
Don't touch anything, Casey. Just
What's touching anything? I'm only to look. It's a revolver.
It looks like the gun in the picture.
Yeah, but this is a 38, Ann. Loftus was shot with a 32.
Well, then, Treaty must have used another gun for the killing?
Probably threw it in the lake afterward. Say.
What have you picked up?
Look at that. Book of matches. From the Briarwold Casino.
Well, like the one found on Tug Loftus.
Yes. This was half hidden under the sofa.
Well, that connects the two murders.
Maybe.
Well, Casey, we've got to get the cops here.
Not just cops. We're getting Logan. I want him to get first break on what we know about that picture. And the phone's in that bedroom. You go get him while I go down to the car and get my camera. I want to take some pictures of my own.
Well, did you see that camera in the bookcase? Maybe you can save yourself a trip.
No, there's no film in it. I looked. It was open to search like everything else. Late Mr. Treaty went in for photography, apparently. Had his kitchenette fixed up like a darkroom.
Yeah.
A lot of equipment there. Searcher wrecked all of it. All right. Call Logan while I go for my camera.
Oh, wait a minute, Casey.
What?
Didn't he tell us he wouldn't be at headquarters till midnight?
Yeah, we'll call him at his home.
He has a new phone number. What is it?
I'll write it down for you. That's where's my pencil.
Take mine.
Thanks. Oh, well, I'll be.
Oh, you've broken the point.
I know it. Well, I use this fountain pen of Treaty.
You shouldn't touch anything.
This pen isn't going to tell the cops who killed him, Annie. Nice point. Write's easy. All right, here's Logan's number. Call him as soon as you finish with City Desk.
Yeah, I will. Casey, don't stick that pen in your pocket.
Oh, I'll need it to make out my film sheets. Don't worry, I'm not stealing from dead guys. The pen will be put back later.
If you think of it, I'll go phone.
Ann.
Yeah?
Give Logan the lowdown about that picture and about everything else. Except, don't tell him about the matchbook we just found.
Why not?
Well, cops have no appreciation of the newspaper racket. We'll lose our exclusive. We'll go after the Briarwold and follow it up by ourselves.
My cousin Jake isn't here, Casey.
Expect him later, Lou?
He's sure to be in sometime tonight.
All right, we'll stick around. Maybe you can give us some information.
Information?
About the Tug Loftus thing.
Jake and I have already told the cops and you newspaper people all we know about that.
Hey, the last time I was in this office, Lou, you and Big Jake were telling the cops that safe there hadn't been robbed.
It hadn't been. We still don't know where they got that crazy report.
Anyway, the tipster told the cops that he heard Big Jake squawking about the loss of $50,000.
Their tipster lied. That safe's never had more than a couple of thousand in it. And that's a big take from a cafe business like ours.
Yeah, your cafe business. Lou, what would you know about a guy named Treaty?
Treaty?
Mm-hmm. Max Treaty.
Why do you ask?
We understand he's been a customer of yours.
He was once a bartender here.
A bartender?
When did he tend bar here?
Till about a year ago. Jake fired him.
Jake, huh?
After I'd caught Treaty holding out on the cash register.
Huh? Jake only fired him for that?
You know Jake. The guy left here minus a few teeth. Why are you curious about Treaty?
He was murdered this afternoon.
Murdered?
Uh-huh. Was Treaty here the night Loftus was killed, Lou?
I think he was.
Had he ever had any run-ins with Tug Loftus?
Yes, about a month ago, Loftus slapped him around at the bar, and Treaty said he'd get even. That was just talk, of course. He knew he didn't stand a chance against that tough pug.
We have reason to believe he made his chance. That he killed Loftus.
You have?
Yeah. We got a photograph showing him doing it.
Casey.
It's all right. Can't be any secret about it, Annie. It'll be on page 1 of this morning's edition. That'll hit the streets in a couple of hours.
Where did you get such a photograph, Casey?
Oh, we just got it. You and Jake both use this desk, Lou?
Yes.
Somebody scribbled some figures on a scratch pad. Is that your work?
Why do you ask?
Oh, just curiosity. Can't make out whether some of the figures are meant to be ones or sevens.
Jake makes his ones that way.
Jake, huh? How about his sevens?
There are no sevens among those figures.
Show me how Jake writes his sevens, Lou.
Why?
Your nervousness about these figures makes me want to know. Here, take this pen and write.
What? That pen?
Yes, you recognize it. It's Treaty's.
And this is a gun.
I see it's a gun, Lou. All right. A .32 snub-nosed revolver.
I'm not so sure how much you two know, but I think it's too much. You've reminded me of a bet I missed. What did you find in that pen, Casey?
I didn't look for anything in the pen. Well, maybe I missed a bet.
Look now. Pull the cap off and see if there's anything inside.
Okay. Hey, there is something.
What?
I'd say it's a rolled-up film, a negative.
Take it out.
Okay. It's a rolled-up negative, all right.
Never mind looking at it. Give it to me.
Well, I want to look
Give
at
it to me.
You're the boss. Here.
Thanks.
Thanks to you for reaching for it. I'll take that gat of yours, Lou. No! Let it go or I'll break your arm. Let go! Thanks for the gun.
Oh, Casey.
All right, now I'll give the orders around here. Put your hands up, Lou. Keep them up and sit down.
All right.
What's that negative, Casey?
It's a nice, clear shot of Lou Solomon here, taking dough out of an open safe. The safe in this office. That's safe. Right, Lou?
You're doing the talking.
You took the dough, Lou, on the date it was reported stolen. Somebody caught you doing it with a camera. From that window where the slat in the Venetian blind is missing. And that someone was Max Treaty.
And Treaty moved into that expensive apartment soon after the robbery and didn't work anymore.
Because Lou here was paying him to keep this evidence undercover. Big Jake is the boss of your bookmaking racket, Lou. He owns it, and you're just a hired man. The dough you stole was Jake's, and if he'd found out that you
Okay,
took it...
Casey, you figured it. Get me out of here now. Take me to the cops where I'll be safe. Jake finds out, he'll kill me.
Yes, like you killed Treaty after your counter-blackmail scheme had backfired.
Counter-blackmail scheme?
Don't you get it, Annie?
No.
I get it. Jake! Drop that gun, Casey, or I'll blow you to pieces before you can turn around. Drop it.
Guy's at a slight disadvantage when his back is turned, Jake. Okay.
Thanks.
You're outside the door?
Yeah, listen.
Jake, I swear.
I said I'd been listening, Lou.
I didn't say anything. Casey did the talking.
They dope things out swell. You took that 50 grand, you dirty louse. 50 grand of my dough.
No, Jake, no.
I'm going to pay you off, Lou.
Don't shoot!
He shot him.
Sorry I had to do it, miss.
You've done a crazy thing, Jake. You're going to the chair for this.
I don't think so, Casey. The cops get here, they're going to find you and this lady dead, too.
You're
Sorry, sister, but that's the way it's got to be. You and Casey will be shot with Lou's gun. My gun will be found beside Casey. The cops have figured that Lou tried to make a getaway, that you shot it out. I'll call the cops myself, start them on that theory.
It won't work, Jake.
I'm betting it will. Betting's my business. Just picked up Lou's
I
gun.
got it first, Jake.
Lou wasn't dead. He shot him.
Lou! He's passed out. All right, I'll get their guns before either one pulls a second recovery. Now, Ann, pick up that phone and call the cops while I watch these guys.
Right, Casey. So much I don't understand. Where does Treaty fit in now?
Treaty didn't kill Loftus.
Well, that picture proves he did. The evidence is there in black and white.
Black and white aren't true colors, kid.
Not true.
No. And pictures themselves can lie.
I don't get it. Hello? Headquarters. Connect me with homicide, please. Casey, tell me, what do you mean?
Well, I'll explain the whole works, Annie, after I take some pictures of Jake and Lou that'll be really on the level.
We'll join the crowd at the Blue Note in just a moment. Here's some really good news for the millions of people in the United States who prefer their beer and ale in clean, sanitary glass, as Americans have preferred it for more than 100 years. You can now buy your favorite brand of beer and ale in a new kind of glass bottle, a lightweight, compact glass bottle that requires no deposit and that never has to be returned. Think of it. No more piling empties in the corner. No more carting them back to the store. No more complicated beer bottle bookkeeping. When you've finished your beer or ale, you simply discard the bottle as you would any other food container. And here's another thing. The new Anchor Glass one-way, no-deposit bottles are light in weight, easier to carry home, and they take up less room in your refrigerator, too. So next time you buy beer or ale, Demand it in sparkling clean Anchor glass, one-way, no deposit bottles. Product of Anchor Hocking. The most famous name in glass.
There's a lot of things I don't understand, Casey.
Well, all right, pal. We'll take it from the beginning now.
Lou Salwin did considerable talking before he died, Ethelbert.
He's dead, huh?
Yeah, both him and Jake.
Tell me.
Well, while Treaty was bartender at the Briarwald, he found out that Lou Salwin was stealing from Jake, his boss. Yeah?
And then Lou caught Treaty cheating the cash register and told Jake.
Who'd knocked out some of Treaty's bridge work, which made Treaty very sore at Lou for snitching.
So he laid for him with a camera and got that picture of Lou robbing the safe for a really big haul.
After that, Treaty sat pretty at Lou's expense. Lou got pretty desperate under the pressure, and finally he hit on a bright idea. He'd get Treaty in a worse spot than he was by killing Loftus.
Lou killed Loftus?
Right, he did. In Lakeside Park, where Treaty was to meet Lou and collect more blackmail. Lou shot the pug and then hit himself with a camera and waited. When Treaty suddenly saw Loftus where he expected to meet Lou, his first instinct would be to draw that gun. And Lou got a very interesting picture of him standing over the body with the gun.
And Treaty didn't know about the picture, of course. It was taken by a black light, an infrared bulb. When he realized Loftus was dead, he lost no time in getting away fast.
Sure, Lou developed his picture and sent a print to Treaty, but his sloppy way of writing sevens got the print into Mrs. McCluskey's hands.
Why'd he send a picture to Treaty?
Well, to shake him up, to make him sweat. Then Lou went to his apartment expecting to find him in a big dither, ready to trade the original negative of that safe robbery for the negative that made Treaty seem a murderer.
But Treaty hadn't received the print, and Lou realized it might fall into the hands of the cops. But they arrested Treaty for a murder he hadn't committed. He'd tell everything he knew about Lou.
Lou's big scheme had backfired. He had to get the negative of the robbery picture Treaty held over him. Treaty wouldn't tell him where he'd hidden it, even under the beating that Lou gave him. Well, you know the rest.
And he was a bartender, like me. Miss Williams, and I'm going to report that guy to our local and have him thrown right out of our union.
He's dead, Ethelbert.
Yes, sir. Huh?
Dead, pal.
Oh. It's like my sister Edna says, Casey. Quote, if you get your picture took, you're liable to get framed. Unquote.
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Cotsworth as Casey, is written by Alonzo Dean Cole. It is brought to you each Thursday by the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation, makers of Fire King Oven Glass, Anchor Glass Containers, Anchor Caps and Closures. All products of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Crime Photographer is directed by John Dietz and is based on the fictional character of Flash Gun Casey, created by George Harmon Cox. Original music is by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Jan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison is the Blue Note pianist. This is Tony Marvin saying goodnight for the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, with offices in all principal cities of the United States and Canada. Broadcasting System. The Anchor Hawking Glass Corporation brings you Crime Photographer.
Here comes Casey.
Hi, fellas.
Gee, I'm glad I got you two guys together. Look, I've got something very important to tell you.
Well, go ahead.
I know, but I just can't seem to remember it.
Well, think, Tony.
I know. I still can't remember it.
Well, go back to what you were doing when you last thought of it. That sometimes helps.
Well, I just had this glass in my hand. Glass! That's it, glass. Look, I just want you two guys never to forget this.
Well, what? Go on.
Never forget that Anchor Hawking is the most famous name in glass. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hawking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, and its more than 10,000 employees bring you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Our adventure for tonight, Blind Justice. Late afternoon, police headquarters, the private office of Captain Logan, Homicide Bureau. On opposite sides of a huge battered desk sit Logan and Casey. Their eyes are hard, their jaws set and tense. Before them is a problem.
It's up to you, Casey.
Let me think, Logan. Let me think.
Well,
Got to work this out. It isn't easy.
look, you're the wonder boy with a hair-trigger brain. Let's have some action.
Okay, I'm taking that king you discarded and throwing down this deuce.
That's it. Yippee! Gin rummy.
You louse. I had a hunch you were saving deuces.
Hey, let's see your hand. Ha, ain't that too bad? Kings, jacks, and tens five.
I make it 80 points and nut steal.
80 plus 20 for gin makes me another game.
All right, figure up what I owe you, Canfield, and we'll call it a day.
Oh, quitting. I can't take it when you lose.
I guess that's right, pal. It's nearly 5 o'clock, though. I'm taking Ann Williams to the theater tonight for dinner before that.
What show are you going to see?
Oh, we're going to see that new one opening at the Tivoli. Press agent gave me ducats.
Don't you ever pay your way?
Well, how can I afford to when you win all my dough?
I got you good this time. Excuse me.
That's your phone.
Captain Logan, Homicide Bureau. Who? Oh, hello. Yeah, I'll be here. What do you want to talk to me about? Okay, come on over. I'm about to receive a visit from a stinker.
Oh? Any stinker I know?
Milt Havens.
Well, the criminal lawyer, huh?
Lawyer criminal describes him better.
Yeah, stinker's best, though. That rat smells of fixed juries and intimidated witnesses and every variety of dirty double-cross known in the book. He was on the phone just now, huh?
Yeah, I said he had to see me. He'll be here in a few minutes.
Did you ever meet Milt Havens' wife?
Yeah. Swell woman.
You bet she is. Super swell. I've often wondered if she knows what kind of a skunk she's married to.
She must.
Well, not necessarily, Logan. Havens is a smooth guy. He probably puts on a good front at home. Besides, a woman who spends most of her time helping people and looking for the best in them, as Doris Havens does, well, she might not be able to really see the kind of a guy her husband really is.
Ah, she does most of that good Samaritan stuff of hers because she is wise to Milt. It's to ease her conscience and to clean up the blood money he brings in.
I see you don't know very much about Doris Havens, Logan.
What do you mean?
Well, for one thing, the dough she spends on that 3rd Street settlement house of hers is her own dough. She was worth over $1 million when she married Milt Havens.
I didn't know that.
Well, of course not. You're just a cop, not a newspaper snooper like me. Why, that money was safely tied up in a trust fund. Or Milt would have gotten it away from her long ago to spend on other women.
There he goes for the gals, all right.
Well, I'm going to get out of here before he shows up. I always feel better when I don't see Milt Havens. So long, pal.
So long. Wait a minute. You owe me gin rummy dough.
Almost forgot. How much?
Here's the score sheet. Read it and weep.
Really took me to the cleaners today, Logan. Look, I'm a little short. How about an IOU?
Nuts. I want cash.
Well, I got to eat, fella.
Well, pawn your watch or your overcoat.
My pal.
Why did I ever come in here in the first place? Oh, 2,560 points.
Which comes to exactly $2.56.
Oh, all right. Here. I hope Ann's got some money.
Come in.
Oh, thanks, Captain.
Hello, Havens.
Well, this is a pleasant surprise, my old friend Casey.
Hi, Milt. I'll see you later, Logan.
Oh, you going?
Yes, I got a date.
Casey, as a newspaperman, you may be interested in my business with the captain.
Oh, yeah?
What is your business, Havens?
Captain, I want you to look at a note that was delivered to my office this afternoon. First I'll read it to you and Casey. It says, this is your death warrant, Havens. There's a slug in my gap with your name on it, and you're going to get it, special delivery, very soon. From a guy you did dirt to. That's all.
Let me see that note.
Yeah, sure, here.
Any idea who sent it?
No, not the slightest. We attorneys who specialize in criminal defense practice make many enemies, Captain.
You think this note's from some former client who's just gotten out of jail?
Well, it's a possibility. My thought in coming to see you, Captain, was that you might find fingerprints on this note.
I'll have it gone over. While we're investigating, you want a police bodyguard, of course.
No, thanks. I have a permit to carry a gun, and I'm better than a fast shot, and, frankly, I'm not worried.
Okay.
Oh, Casey, would you like to take a picture of me to run with the story of this death threat? It'll make good newspaper copy for you and good publicity for me.
If the threatener really killed you, it'll be a good newspaper story, Havens, not otherwise. I got to run along, Logan.
Give Miss Williams my best, Casey.
I'll do that.
Hope you enjoy that new show at the Tivoli tonight.
Yeah, thanks, pal. So long.
Oh, Casey.
What?
You're going to the Tivoli tonight.
That's right, yeah.
Well, so am I with Mrs. Havens. How about joining us afterwards for supper and a few drinks?
No, thanks, but... You'll be with Mrs. Havens?
Yes. My wife has always liked you, Casey. She'd enjoy having you with us.
Your wife is aces with me.
Well, thank you.
It'll be a privilege to talk to her again.
Oh, then it's a date?
All right, yeah. We'll meet you in the lobby after the last act. Partly for business reasons.
Business reasons?
Well, we could be lucky and get a story. The guy who wrote that note might be waiting outside of the theater for you with his gun. There's Milt Havens and his wife, Annie.
Oh, that tall,
Yeah.
gray-haired woman is Mr.
Right.
Havens?
Hello, Miss Williams. Casey, we've been waiting for you.
Hello, Mr. Havens.
Oh, Mr. Casey, it's so good to see you again.
Well, it's good to see you, Mrs. Havens.
Doris, you haven't met Casey's friend. This very pretty young lady is Miss Williams. My wife, Miss Williams.
This is a pleasure, my dear.
It's one for me, Mrs. Havens. I know about the wonderful work you've done through your settlement house.
Let's
and
get out
I'm
of the theater, eh? My chauffeur will have the car waiting.
We're taking you and Miss Williams to our home for a bite, Mr. Casey.
Oh, that was swell. Thank you.
Milton, dear,
Oh, yes, Doris.
when we get to the door, let me go out first and look around. The man who wrote you that note may be waiting outside.
Oh, I shouldn't have told you about that silly note, Doris. No, I'm in no danger. That's right, isn't it, Casey?
I don't know.
Well, you'd agree if you knew Bull, my chauffeur. He's an ex-heavyweight wrestler who also knows how to handle a gun. Oh, there he is with the car. Everything all right, Bull?
All okay, Mr. Havens.
Take my arm, Milton, before we go out the door. Someone might be waiting. Someone Bull hasn't noticed. And if I'm very close to
Oh, all right.
you... Now, you get into the car first.
Very well. A man must humor these women, Casey.
Yeah.
Well, I'm safely inside. Come on, the rest of you.
Let me help you, Mrs. Havens.
Well, thank you, Mr. Casey.
Annie?
Oh, okay.
Drive us home, Bull.
Yes, sir.
You weren't lucky, Casey. No news story. My threatening friend didn't come to the theater.
I'm glad to be almost home, Milton. I've been so afraid every minute.
Now stop worrying, Doris, please.
Here we are, boss.
Bull, look around before you open the car doors.
I'll do that, Mrs. Havens.
You won't do anything of the kind. We can see for ourselves that the street is deserted. Now, Doris, I'm getting tired of this scary stuff. Come on.
Let me go out with you, Milton. I'll be close beside you.
All right, Doris, but you're making me feel like a fool.
Come on, Annie.
There are a lot of dark places here. I wish...
Casey!
The guy with the gun. Havens, look out.
Don't shoot my husband,
Get
don't!
away from me, Doris.
Oh, Mrs. Haven.
I got him, Bull. I shot him. I pumped some lead in them, too, boss. He's finished. He got in 2 shots before you fellas got your guns out. The slugs caught your wife, Havens. Doris, shot.
Mrs. Havens?
I'm afraid she's dead.
Oh. She stepped in front of me.
That's how it looked. Let's have a look at the guy who killed her.
Okay.
He's done for, Mr. Casey. The boss and I got her.
Wait a minute, let me see. Wait. His lips are moving. He's trying to talk.
Yeah, let me at him. I'll finish him.
Drop that gun, Havens. Drop it.
Go. They killed my wife. I have the right to...
Hold him, Bull. Hold it.
No, Bull. No. We can't let you do something foolish, boss.
The man's murmuring something, Casey.
Yes, I know.
but
I'll
can't
lift
make
his
out
head
what
and
it is.
maybe then I...
Okay.
What is it, guy? What is it?
Now, let me go, Bull. I'm going to finish him.
Oh.
He's finished now, Havens. The guy who shot your wife is dead. Dead.
Did he say anything, Casey?
No. But his lips seem to form 2 words. 2 words. Double cross.
I recognize this rat. I defended him several years ago and lost, and he went to prison. He probably thought I'd crossed him up.
Maybe he was trying to talk about the past. I wonder.
Why, what do you mean?
I got a hunch, Havens. A nasty hunch.
Friends, instead of delivering a regular commercial at this time, allow me to read you this telegram that I just received. Lancaster, Ohio. Quote, Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation scientists announce perfection, amazing new method of manufacturing oven glass in beautiful, rich, warm, opaque ivory. Development, result of years of research, is first of its kind in history. Makes possible introduction of completely new and far more beautiful line of oven glass called Ivory Fire King. Designed on simple classic lines, new Ivory Fire King oven glass resembles finest table china in appearance. New Ivory Fire King oven glass guaranteed 2 years against oven breakage. Not yet available everywhere, sensational Ivory Fire King oven glass on display and sale soon throughout the United States. Tell audience to watch for it. Not miss it. It's the world's finest oven glass. William V. Fisher, President. Unquote. Mark up another first, another triumph. Ivory Fire King oven glass, a product of Anchor Hocking. The most famous name in glass.
Okay, Grace, I'll look for it. Don't worry, I won't. Goodbye. These women. Now, Casey, you and Miss Williams was about to tell me who the guy was who shot poor Mrs. Havens.
Yeah. It was a rodhot, Ethelbert. His name was Barker.
He just finished a stretch for armed robbery, and Havens had been his lawyer when he was convicted.
So he tried to kill Havens for letting him be convicted, huh?
Apparently.
Well, it's open and shut, Casey. His fingerprints were on that threatening note that Havens received.
Well, that makes all the parts fit perfect.
Not quite. Mrs. Havens was killed instead of her husband.
Well, that was accidental. You say she jumped in front of him.
No, Miss Williams says that.
Well, she did jump in front of Havens.
Well.
I saw her do it, so did the chauffeur. And her husband, who was closest to her, said
I'm not believing
in
anything that Havens guy says. Everything happened so fast, Annie, you can't be sure of what you saw. Neither can Bull, the chauffeur, and I'm not sure of what I saw.
Oh.
I couldn't swear of what I think I saw. But I do think that Havens pushed his wife away when she tried to step in front of him. And I think I saw the gunman aim directly at her and not at her husband. I think Havens was behind the murder of his wife. That's what I think.
Casey, you despise that man so much you can't be reasonable.
Well, he tried to put another bullet in the killer, didn't he? He learned he was still alive and trying to talk.
Well, he was half mad because of his wife's death.
No,
He did a perfect...
Ann. He was afraid that guy would tell us that he'd been hired to kill Doris Havens. So Havens double-crossed him, shot him. So he'd never be able to give away the deal.
Well, that's only your stubborn theory.
Well, there's a good basis for it.
No.
The way Havens set the stage in Logan's office with that threatening note. The way he got you and me for witnesses when he learned that we were going to the Tivoli. I'd have to swear that ex-con Barker shot Mrs. Havens. That Havens shot him in self-defense?
But, Casey, since that Barker's fingerprints were found on that threatening note...
Well, that only builds my theory, Ethelbert.
Oh.
Sure, Barker was an experienced crook. He wouldn't have left incriminating prints on that note if he sent such a note. But if he was working for Havens... Havens could easily have gotten his prints on a blank sheet of paper and then have printed the note himself.
Ah, that is an angle.
Well, that's all it is. How about motive, Casey? Havens had nothing to gain by his wife's death. Her money is in a trust fund that he won't inherit. If he just lost his taste for her, well, divorce was simpler than murder and a lot less dangerous.
He wouldn't have dared to try divorcing her.
Why wouldn't he have dared?
Some of the toughest crooks in this town have a soft spot for Doris Havens because she'd helped so many of them. Helped them and their families. If it gotten around that Havens was giving her the double cross, he'd have had orders to lay off or else.
Well, we still haven't a motive.
I know. I can't figure why he'd want to get rid of her. I just feel that he did, that's all. Oh, nuts.
You know who Claudia Stafford is?
Well, who doesn't?
Claudia Stafford is the heiress who has over $10 million in her own name. Poor girl. What about her?
I was thinking her chauffeur comes in here occasional, and when he gets tight, he gets confidential with us bartenders. Well, the last time that happened, he told me that Claudia Stafford and Milt Haven was carrying a torch for one another.
Huh? What?
Yeah, he said there was meeting regular, Casey.
Why, Annie. With Havens free to become that dame's husband.
Well, she has full control of her estate.
Well, there's his motive. The Stafford dough.
The same thought occurred to me while you was talking, Casey.
Well, so what? There's still no evidence that Haven was behind his wife's murder.
Got to get evidence, Anne. If he hired Barker for the job...
Captain Logan can check up on Barker. He may have said or done something.
The cops will have a tough time on that kind of checkup, and they may get nowhere. Barker was a crook and associated with crooks. They're the only people he'd spill anything to, and they won't help the cops.
No.
Wait a minute, though. A few of them might help me.
Fats Everett likes you, Casey, and you've done him some favors.
Yes, I was thinking of Fats Everett, Ann.
He's the gang boss of the West Side where Mrs. Havens had her settlement house.
Yeah. I'm going over and have a talk with Fats Everett.
You've got quite an interesting theory about Mrs. Havens killing Casey.
Yeah, I thought you'd find it worth listening to, Fats. You knew Mrs. Havens, and you know her husband.
She was a swell woman.
Yes.
You spoken to the cops about your suspicions?
To keep the record straight, Fats, I've told Captain Logan what I've told you.
And?
He said there was only one chance in a million of proving up on my idea.
Mm-hmm. You didn't tell Logan or any other cop that you were going to talk to me?
No.
Okay. Now forget you've talked to me. I'll speak to some of the guys about this Barker Rod Hut. You'll hear from me later.
Thanks, Fats.
Think nothing of it, Casey.
Photography department, Casey speaking.
This is Everett.
Fats, it's been 2 weeks since I talked to you. You found out anything?
Some things take time, chum. Down to my joint. Lunch to meet a guy. So long. Where's the next room, Casey? I want you to meet you in there.
You got it locked up, Fats?
Mm-hmm. That's him. Get up, Dopey.
You gonna let me out of here now, Mr. Everett, huh? You gonna...
Close your trap till you're told over.
Yeah, I will, Mr. Everett. Don't hit me again.
Now tell this guy what you told me.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Everett, okay. It's about Barker. We was in Sturdica, and we got sprung at the same time. And he was never saw at that mark pit.
Wait a minute. Barker told you that?
Yeah. I was his pal. And he told me how Havens was going to pay him $1,000 to knock off his wife. Barker got $100 of it in advance.
Which was all he got, except some slugs from Havens' gat.
And Barker bought Hooch with 100, and him and me, we got pie-eyed together. And that's when he told me about Havens and the job that he'd been hired to do. He wouldn't even tell a pal like me that unless we was full of red-eye like that.
Your theory was 100%, Casey.
Now will you let me out of here, Mr. Abbott? And will you give me a bottle of red eye?
Sit down. Shut up.
Guy's an alcoholic, Fats.
He's everything that's crummy. He's even been in the bug house. But he was Barker's pal. I've checked.
Yeah. His testimony would be worth a plug nickel in court. He's an ex-con. He's a rummy and a nut. He says Barker was drunk when he told him about Havens. Well, DA wouldn't even try for an indictment on the strength of his story.
He's the best I could do for you, Casey. Yeah. And I believe his story. I've checked.
Well, there's still no evidence against Havens. He's going to get away with what he's done.
He killed a swell woman.
Yeah, she was tops. She's dead, and he'll go on living better than he ever has before on Claudia Stafford's dole. Guess that old gal, Justice, is blind.
I try to think she is, Casey, for my own sake. But all guys like me are just a little bit afraid of her. Blind or not, she seems to get around. And to catch up with the fastest runners. We don't get away.
Well, Havens is getting away.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you're right. You want to take this jerk to the cops, or shall I turn him loose?
Well, won't do any good, but I'll take him to the cops.
Now, get him out of here, then.
All right, come on, you.
No, don't take
come
me
on.
to the cops.
Shut up. So long, Casey. Be seeing you one of these days.
So the cops and the DA wouldn't do nothing about that ex-con story, huh, Casey?
Nothing they could do, Ethelbert. Guy's worthless as a witness. It looks like Havens committed the perfect crime, one he can't be punished for.
Oh, I can't believe that.
Well, I'm watching it happen, Ann.
Hello, Casey.
What?
Here, Miss Williams.
Oh,
Fats.
Mr. Everett.
Well, how are you, Ethelbert?
Fine. I don't see you in here very often, Mr. Everett.
Well, this isn't my part of town. Just happened to be up here on business when I remembered this Blue Note Cafe was your hangout, Casey, so I thought I'd drop in.
Anything on your mind, Fats?
Oh, nothing but a good time. There's a new night spot just opened in my district, and got a part interest in it. Thought you and Miss Williams might like to pay it a visit tonight as my guests.
Oh, thanks, fellow. We just put the paper to bed, though, and I'm dead tired.
Oh, so am I. Another time, Mr. Everett.
A guy both of you know has reserved a table at my new club tonight. You two might pick up a story with pictures.
Who's the guy?
I'd rather save him for a surprise. Join me?
You, tipping us to something, Fats?
Maybe.
Aha, that's enough, Casey. Let's go.
My car's outside. You'll ride with me. There's my new nightclub, Miss Williams. We'll park here.
Hey, wait a minute. Your joint's almost directly across the street from the 3rd Street Settlement House, Fats.
Yeah, Mrs. Havens' place.
Yeah. She did a lot of good in this neighborhood.
Well, come on, let's get out of this bus.
Wait a second now. Shall I light a fresh cigar?
Oh, sure.
What time we got, Casey?
12:30. 12:29 to be exact.
Mm-hmm. That checks with my watch, so we both must be right. Just the shank of the evening. Let's go. Got your camera, Casey?
Yeah, sure, I got it.
I think you two will get a kick out of my new club. We're drawing some of the most important people in town, Casey.
Yeah, well, look, suppose you break down now and tell us who the guy is you spoke of.
Guy?
Yeah, the one we know who's reserved a table might be good for a story.
Oh. It's the mayor.
The mayor?
Oh.
We're joining his party. You know his honor, Miss Williams. He's always good for a story.
And it won't hurt your new club if we run something about him being there.
That's right. We can use some free publicity.
Huh?
Milt Havens just came out of that club.
Hey, oh, it's getting away.
I'm getting a picture of this. Fats, what's the guy?
I'm sorry I bumped your arm, Casey.
I would have gotten a picture of that murder car, Fats, if you hadn't
The
bumped my
car's
arm.
gone now. It's around the corner.
Never mind the car. Let's have a look at Havens.
Hurry. He's dead, Casey. Bullet's almost cut him in two.
Here's the picture you really wanted, Casey. The dead body of a rat.
I'll take it, Fats. Huh. And you brought me down here to take pictures of the mayor.
join the crowd at the Blue Note in just a moment. No deposit, no return. Get it, friends? Those 4 words, no deposit, no return, are sweeping the United States like wildfire. They mean that you can now buy your favorite brand of beer and ale in a new kind of glass bottle. A lightweight, compact glass bottle that requires no deposit and never has to be returned to the store. So say goodbye to beer bottle bookkeeping, to empties piling up on the corner waiting to be hauled back to the store. Yes, indeed. The new Anchor Glass one-way, no-deposit bottles can be discarded just as any other food container after you've used the contents. And they're light to carry home, take up less space in your refrigerator. Now, you, of course, prefer your beer and ale in clean, sanitary glass. Americans have for more than 100 years. So demand your favorite brand of beer or ale in the sparkling new Anchor Glass one-way, no-deposit bottle. Product of Anchor Hocking. The most famous name in glass.
You think Fats Everett arranged for Haven's execution, Casey?
I don't know, Ethelbert. I don't know. It's possible that he'd fix things so Havens would be called out of that joint on some pretext at 12:30 exactly. Fat's gorillas were in that car waiting for him.
Well, we can't prove that, Casey.
No, Annie, there's no evidence. We can't prove it. I've told the cops everything I know, but Fat's covered every angle just like Havens did. He didn't even lie to us about the mayor. His honor was in that club.
Fats Everett thought Mrs. Havens was a fine woman.
Yeah, but even so, Fats was entirely wrong if he took the law into his own hands.
I guess that old gal Justice will get him, too, in the end.
That's right. She never fails. That bandage on her eye is just a gag.
You, didn't think that a few days ago.
No, well, I've had good reason to change my mind.
You never can tell about women.
What? Women?
Justice is supposed to be, ain't she? A woman?
Oh.
Well, it's getting harder to tell about them all the time. Especially with this here new look. It ain't Justice, Casey. Why, if them skirts get much longer, us men might as well be blind.
Annie, I think we're approaching a change of subject.
I, can see that. Enjoy yourselves, gentlemen. Good night.
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Cotsworth as Casey, is written by Alonzo Dean Cole. It is brought to you each Thursday by the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation, makers of Fire King Oven Glass. Anchor glass containers, Anchor caps and closures. All products of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Photographer is directed by John Dietz and is based on the fictional character of Flash Gun Casey created by George Harmon Cox. Original music is by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Jan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison is the Blue Note pianist. Crime Photographer, under a new sponsorship, will be brought to you next week, same time, same station. Be sure to listen in. And friends, this completes the current series of Crime Photographer programs under the sponsorship of the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation. Our thanks to you listeners for your local support and to all those who have had a part in making these programs so interesting and exciting. This is Tony Marvin saying good night for the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, with offices in all principal cities of the United States and Canada. This is KIBM Columbia Broadcasting System.
Natural look is Toni.
Tony.
Tony Home Permanent, the wave that gives that natural look, brings you Crime Photographer. Good evening, everyone. This is Bill Cullen greeting you for Tony Home Permanent and inviting you to listen to another adventure of Casey, Crime Photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole, our adventure for tonight, Holiday. Thanksgiving Day, early afternoon. Among the crowd that strolls idly by the Blue Note Cafe is a slight, worried-looking man who, unlike the other strollers, doesn't appear to be in a holiday mood.
Biff Connors. Huh? Hey, remember me, fella? Casey, Morning Express.
Sure, I remember you. Hey,
Couldn't be better. Biff, I haven't seen you since, gosh, it must be 3 years.
Closer to 4.
I guess it is. Miss Williams, let me introduce Mr. Connors.
Hello, Mr. Connors.
Nice to meet you, Miss Williams.
Heard some nice things about you, Biff. They tell me you're married now, raising a family, got your own business, doing fine.
Yeah, well, I got to be running along. It's nice seeing you, Casey. Being introduced to you, Miss Williams. So long.
Well, so long, Biff.
That was short and sweet. Your friend could hardly contain his joy at meeting you.
Yeah.
You look worried, Casey. I don't think his mind is really on you. Who is he?
Well, he used to be one of the cleverest safecrackers in the country.
Safecracker?
He knew more about safes than the people that make them. Well, he didn't keep him out of jail, though. He served 3 stretches.
You don't usually introduce me to your criminal associates.
Biff wasn't the usual kind of criminal, Annie. Since his last term in the big house, he's going absolutely straight, too. I know that. Yeah, I hope nothing's going wrong with the guy.
Oh, probably not. Here's the Blue Note.
Let me push open the door for you.
You?
Well, look who's here.
Hi, pal.
Good afternoon, Ethelbert.
Happy Thanksgiving to both of you.
And to you?
In big red letters.
Had your turkey and trimmings yet?
No, we plan to go to a movie and then have dinner about 7 o'clock.
You having it here?
What? Thanksgiving dinner in this joint? Oh, not a chance.
What's the matter with this joint? The chef's putting out a $1.75 special today.
Casey's taking me to the Ritz for dinner. And then we're going to a play.
Yep.
Movies in the afternoon, the Ritz for dinner, and then an evening show, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You are having a holiday.
We're not going to waste any of it hanging around here, as much as we love you, Ethelbert.
Oh. Casey, it just came to my mind. As of November 1st, you owe us on your October bill.
Oh, well, that's all right, Ethelbert. Just carry it over to December. I'm going to need all the dough I've got on me today, I think.
Yeah, and you'll need all you got on you in December. I don't like to dun a pal, Casey, but I know you...
Huh? Oh, Biff.
Mr.
Excuse
Connors.
me for butting in like this, Miss Williams, but Casey, after I left you outside, I got to think...
Well, we're glad to see you again, fella. How about having...
No, thanks. I hope you'll excuse me, Miss Williams. Casey, if I ain't asking too much, well, you step outside with me while... So I can talk to you alone.
Well,
I'd appreciate it, Casey, a lot.
Sure, go ahead, Casey. I'll wait for you here.
Oh, well, okay, Annie, thanks. Okay, Biff.
Thanks a million.
You look awful worried, fella. What's this all about? Are you a busy professional woman, a teacher, a nurse, perhaps a business career girl? Well, Tony Home Permanent is a blessing for busy women like you. It takes so little time to give yourself the most natural-looking wave you've ever had with Tony. You don't have to spend half a day away from home. You don't have to sit under a hot dryer. While your Tony wave is taking, you can listen to the radio, read, do anything you like. This weekend, get the Tony Kit, complete with plastic curlers for just $2. Follow the simple directions and see how convenient it is to give yourself the loveliest wave you've ever had with Tony Home Permanent. The wave that gives that natural look.
T-O-N-I, Tony.
Turn into the side street, Casey. It ain't too crowded. We can talk.
Okay, Biff.
I oughtn't wish this on you, Casey. You ain't a guy who owes me anything. But after I run into you by accident a while ago, I got to thinking that maybe it was one of them signs. You see, I'd been praying. Well, you was always a regular in my book, and I got to thinking that maybe you was the one guy in the world I could turn to for help.
Yeah, well,
What kind of help do you need? I'm not so heavy with dough. I had plans for the day, but if you've got to
No, I don't want any money.
Oh. Well, you're not in trouble, then. Wait a minute. You in wrong with the cops again?
Not yet.
Not yet?
Casey, I've been 100% straight since I came out of stir last time. I asked you to believe that.
I believe you, Biff.
The wife, and I built up a nice little business. We got a store uptown, tobacco, candy, toys, stationery. Things were going along just swell until 2 weeks ago.
What happened there?
A couple of guys come into my store with a proposition. They wanted me to crack a safe.
Yeah?
They offered me $5,000 to do this job.
Nice money.
I told them where to go with it. A couple of days later, they come back. They raised their offer to $10,000. I threw them out of the place.
Gone.
Well, that didn't get me nothing. He told me I'd play along with them or else. And then this morning I found a loaded .45 caliber automatic under my candy counter.
What? A gun?
Yeah. I'm an ex-con, Casey, a 3-time loser. You know what it'd mean for me if the cops found a gat in my possession?
You'd get the book.
Sure, I'd be put away for keeps. The gun was planted under that counter, Casey, sometime during the night. I wrapped it up. I made an excuse to the wife that I had to come downtown, and I went to the North Bridge, and I dropped it in the river.
This gun was left where you'd be sure to find it.
Yeah. It wasn't meant as a frame, just as a hint of what'll happen if I don't play ball.
Well, the two guys been around to follow up their hint?
I don't know. I ain't been back to the store.
Oh.
Since I left the bridge, I've just been walking around trying to think. Wife don't know anything about them guys in the proposition. I ain't told her. And I can't tell her. She knows all about my record. You can figure how scared she'd be.
And you haven't told the cops?
Does a guy like me ever run to the cops?
Well, it'd be smart if you ran to them this time.
No.
Why not?
In the first place, they wouldn't believe me. An ex-con. They figure I was trying to put something over. I can't blame them, Casey.
Well, I can tell them.
You gotta promise me you won't.
Well, Biff,
listen. Suppose they did believe me. What happens? They set a trap for the guys who propositioned me. Them guys got friends who'll know that the squeal that the cops acted on had to come from me. My life wouldn't be worth a nickel.
Yeah. Guess you got something.
Promise
there.
me you won't say nothing to the cops, Casey. You got it.
Well, what do you want me to do, Biff?
I don't know. I just had to talk to somebody, that's all. For a guy I knew was right, and I ain't got such a good head, Casey. I figured maybe you could figure my way out.
Well, thanks for the compliment. Well, who are the guys that came to you with this proposition?
I don't know. They didn't tell me their names.
Well, I get around a little. What do they look like?
One was tall and skinny, had a long face and big yellow teeth. He kind of looks like a horse.
Yeah?
The other's a little dark guy, heavy set.
Oh, wait a minute. The one you say looks like a horse, has he got a long scar on his neck?
Yeah, like somebody done a shift job on it.
Can't be two mugs who answer to that description. Scar neck, horse face must be Jake Bannister. Head strong-arm goon for Nick Reynolds.
Nick Reynolds?
Well, you must know who he is.
Well, the name's familiar, but
Hey, you are out of touch with the rackets, kid. Nick Reynolds is the Mr. Big behind some of the dirtiest crooked work that goes on in this town. But he poses as a solid, respectable business guy, and the cops have never been able to nail him. Oh, wait a minute. Tell me more about the little heavy-set mug.
Well, he looks... He's got a cauliflower ear like a pug. And he stinks of perfume.
Hey, Tony Chef. He's another of Reynolds' guys. This is beginning to sound like hot stuff. I don't suppose they told you whose safe they want open, huh?
No.
They tell you anything about it?
Only there was a small house safe, a real tough one. That's what he needed, an old hotshot like me.
And they offered you dough to crack it, $10,000. They didn't say anything about giving you a share of what's in it.
That's right. I got a notion there isn't any dough in the box to share, Casey. Just something that somebody wants and is willing to pay high for.
Think you can find out from those guys where the box is, the location of the house, and who lives there?
Well, they won't tell me unless I say I'll play ball with them.
No, that's right, they won't. Look, Biff, go back to your store. They ought to be paying you a visit there today after planting that gun. Try to learn all you can. And then... Well, I've made other plans for this afternoon, but I'll stick around the Blue Note. I'll write down the number of a phone booth there so we can talk in private when you call. There, here it is.
Thanks, Casey.
I got a dinner date for around 7 that I can't break, fella, and then I'll be tied up for the rest of the evening, so if your guys don't show by 7, well, things are going to have to just ride a while, I guess. But in the meantime, I'll be running down a little tip I got on Nick Reynolds.
A tip?
Yeah, it's just a piece of gossip I didn't think much of until I heard your story. Now it may mean something. Well, so long, Biff. Take it easy now and try not to worry, huh?
I'll try, but remember you promised me, Casey. You won't tell the cops.
Yeah, that's right. I won't tell the cops.
And because your ex-convict friend is so worried, Casey, you leave me sitting here in the Blue Note for most of the afternoon.
Well, I phoned you. I'd be a little delayed,
Yeah,
Annie.
a little delayed. Look at the time. It's nearly 5 o'clock. You were taking me to the movies this afternoon. Remember?
Oh, please, kid, what's a movie when a guy's in a jam?
Oh, yeah, the poor fellow is in a bad spot.
Yeah, he's in a terrible spot from what Casey's told us, Miss Williams. And I don't see what can be done about it without help from the cops.
And if they're brought into the picture, Ethelbert, Biff would be killed for squealing. Nick Reynolds is behind this thing, and he plays rough.
Casey, you said you'd been following up a tip on Reynolds?
Yeah. You know Monty Summers, Annie? Of the Summers Detective Agency?
Yeah, Summers Blackmail Bureau would be a better name for his outfit.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Summers is a shakedown artist of the dirtiest kind. He's done a lot of work for Nick Reynolds, but he doesn't work for him anymore. There's been a bust-up.
Yeah, I heard that.
Well, my tip was that Summers pulled the old double-cross and collected evidence against his boss, Reynolds, enough to send him away for life. Now, Reynolds is supposed to be paying him plenty to keep that evidence under his hat.
Well, that tip sounds like a phony. Reynolds wouldn't pay a blackmailer. He'd have him bumped off.
Well, sure, like you just said, Casey, Nick Reynolds plays rough.
Yeah, but he's too smart to play rough when he stands to lose by it, though. If Summers has the goods on Reynolds, it's in documentary form. It won't be destroyed by his death. It's a cinch that Summers has convinced his old boss that the stuff will be made public if he's killed or if he disappears.
Yeah, that's so.
But, Casey, what's it got to do with your friend Biff Connors?
Ethelbert. Two of Nick Reynolds' trusted hoods offer Biff a flat sum, not a share, to open a house safe.
You mean?
Well, it could be Monty Summers' documentary evidence that Reynolds wants.
I see.
And if it is,
Sure.
and we could get it, Casey. Oh, what a story.
What a story. With exclusive pictures, too. It'd be worth missing an afternoon movie for, wouldn't it, kid?
I'll say.
And if the evidence got Nick Reynolds sent to jail, this town would be a much better place to live in. But how is this theory of yours going to help Biff Connors, Casey?
It doesn't. It's a complication. Well, since Biff hasn't phoned, I guess Reynolds' mugs didn't show up at his place. He's probably taking a holiday off.
No, I'd like a little holiday myself. And away from this place. I'm hungry, Casey. Let's start for the Ritz.
Well, it's not nearly 7 o'clock yet, Annie. I told the
If
guy...
he phones, I'll tell him you've gone to the Ritz, Casey, and a call.
Oh, no, Ethelbert. I'm not going to have my Thanksgiving dinner spoiled by phone calls for Casey.
Well, you're so anxious to get out of the good old Blue Note, Miss Williams. I thought...
Well, you think again. After we leave here, you tell nobody where to reach us. We're going to have the rest of this day to ourselves.
Yeah, you do as Miss Williams says, pal. Really nothing I can do for Biff tonight, and he's going to stall those guys anyway.
Whatever you say, Casey.
Yeah. Well, come on, Annie.
At last, we're going places.
That's right. So long, Ethelbert.
So long.
Oh, Mr. Casey.
Yes, Walter.
Phone call for you in the booth. Mr. Connors.
Uh-oh.
No.
Excuse me, Annie.
I might have known, Ethelbert. I might have known.
Hello, Casey speaking.
This is Biff Connors.
Anything happen?
Plenty. Them guys were here and I couldn't stall them like you told me, Casey.
Couldn't stall.
No, they said they'd get my wife and kid if I didn't fall in line. They weren't bluffing. I gotta do their job tonight at 12 or else.
12 tonight?
Yeah, I promised them I will and I have to. There's no way you or anybody else can help me now, pal. I just phoned because I said I would and you wouldn't have kept hanging around till 7 o'clock. That's all. So long.
Hey, wait a minute. Don't hang up.
No use talking,
Listen,
Casey.
Biff. After you promised those guys that you'd do their job, did they tell you where it's going to be?
Yeah. But you know what you promised me, Casey.
Yeah.
No cops.
You've got to trust me, fella. Now, give me that address, will you?
Okay. It's on Riker Avenue, number 390.
390 Riker.
That's right.
Those two guys will go there with you at 12 tonight?
Yeah, and they'll be watching me every minute, Casey, with guns in their mitts.
Well, listen. Stay in your store. I'll get in touch with you there by 10:30.
You got some plan, Casey? You think there's a chance?
There's a swell chance, Biff. There's every chance. Now, stop worrying, kid. You'll hear from me in a couple of hours. So long.
I got faith in you, Casey. So long.
Faith in a liar. I can't figure any chance.
Annie. Yeah, I know. Don't tell me. We're not heading for the Ritz and turkey dinner.
No. We're going out to look over Monty Summers' house right now.
Oh, you mean Monty Summers, the blacksmith?
I looked up his address this afternoon just in case. He lives at 390 Riker Avenue. Come on, Annie, let's go.
Yeah, so long, Ethelbert.
So long. No Thanksgiving dinner for you two. Over the thing grandmother's house we go. The horse knows the way to carry the sleigh through the something or other.
Hi, Ethelbert. Say, wasn't that Casey and Miss Williams just leaving the blue note there?
Hello, Mr. Cullen. Yeah, that was them.
Oh, they didn't speak to me.
Well, they was going so fast, they must not have seen you.
Yeah. Why the speed?
Well, they're trying to stop a safe cracker from cracking a safe he don't want to crack.
I don't quite follow you, Ethelbert, but I gather that crime does not take a holiday?
No. And Casey figured it would. He'd promised Miss Williams turkey and trimmings at the Ritz. That's where he made his mistake.
Mistake? Why, I'd call that a pretty sound idea for Thanksgiving Day.
Making a promise to a woman?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Cullen, that's always a mistake.
Oh, no, Ethelbert. Tony made a promise to millions of women, and it's been a great thing for everybody. You see, not many years ago, no one ever dreamed women could give themselves satisfactory permanence right at home. But Tony developed a gentle, cream-cold wave that they knew would give wonderful results with all types of hair. So they made a promise and backed it up with a guarantee. They said, Tony will give you a permanent that lasts just as long as a $15 beauty shop wave and is guaranteed to look more natural or your money back. And women were interested. They tried Tony, and the promise came true. They found they can give themselves waves and curls with Tony that are so soft and shiny they look like naturally curly hair. So they told their friends, and what's happened?
Are you asking me, or is that a Rita Oracle question?
I guess everybody knows the answer, Ethelbert. Now, more than 1 million women each month use Tony Home Permanent.
More than 1 million?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of women.
Yes, each month another 1 million women give themselves lovely Tony waves.
That's a whale of a big house, Annie. Monty Summers lives well.
Oh, now that we're looking at it, Casey, what are you going to do?
Annie, we've got to think as though we plan to crack a safe here ourselves.
The easiest to go in and out from the front.
Mm-hmm. See, I think I'd come here in a car. I'd park it under one of these trees. Not directly in front of the house, of course, but close enough for a quick getaway.
And leave a lookout in it?
No, I wouldn't do that. A guy sitting in a parked car might attract attention, which I don't want. I'd post a lookout, but he won't be in the car or even near it most of the time.
Well, now that that's decided, what do we do?
I don't know, kid. Trying to make us think, that's all. I'm pretty sure that Nick Reynolds will come here himself with Biff and those rodmen tonight. He'd trust nobody but himself to take that evidence out of the safe. He'll want it in his own hands to take it away and examine it, destroy it.
Well, if there's a chance of getting him, we've got to get the cops in on this.
But they catch Biff opening the safe. In spite of everything that we could say in a guy's favor, the law says that fourth offenders go up for life. We've got to catch Reynolds with the goods and at the same time keep Biff out of it.
It's a large order.
Sure is. It is too large, kid. I can't see any way to fill it.
Casey, if you and I came back here at midnight and hid ourselves, when Reynolds and Biff Connors and the others come out, we can cover them with a couple of guns. We'll capture Reynolds and his gang and let Biff Connors get away.
Annie, can you really picture you and me in a gangster movie act like that? We'd only get ourselves shot.
No, I guess we're not the right type. Why aren't we like some of the characters we see in the movies? They solve everything so easily by just drawing their trusty automatics and going bang, bang, bang.
Wish we were.
What am I, a woman or a mouse? In that Western we saw last week, a gal my size captured a dozen tough cattle rustlers all by herself.
Well, her boyfriend was pretty good, too, don't forget.
Tall, dark, and handsome in the fancy pants. He was certainly a shock with a lariat, too.
He lassoed the character who tried to steal Grandpappy's beef ranch. He yanked him off his pinto pony so hard I kind of got aching bones myself.
It's so easy in the movies. Oh, well, this line of thinking isn't getting us anywhere.
No, wait a minute. Maybe it is.
Huh?
Lasso. Man. Horse.
Casey, what?
I've got an idea, Annie.
You have?
Yeah, come on, get in the car. I'll tell you about it. We're on our way to borrow something that I'll need. Then I'll get to Biff Connor and tell him honestly that he has a swell chance.
I really got a chance, Casey?
Bet you have every chance.
Tell me.
No, not yet. You tell me about the setup for tonight, as you got it from Reynolds' Rodman.
So I'm to meet him a couple of blocks from here, see, at 11 o'clock, like I told you.
That's right.
They'll be in a black sedan. They'll have the tools they'll need for the safe job. Then we drive right out to the Riker Avenue house. They say the guy who owns the joint won't be there. That's why the job's got to be done tonight. It's only a servant in the house, and he's been fixed.
Well, they don't look for any trouble then, huh?
No, they claim it'll be a cinch.
They're due for a surprise. You're the only one who's not headed for trouble.
Casey, tell me what...
No. The less you know about this whole thing, the better for you. But I want you to be sure to do 3 things, Biff.
Yeah?
First, after you open the safe, don't let any of the guys with you destroy anything they take out of it. Act scared. Insist on getting out of the house right away.
Okay.
All right, now second, when you reach the getaway car, get into the back seat.
Back seat?
Yeah. Third, take a grip on the front seat and brace yourself. Brace yourself with all the muscle that you've got.
They've been in that house over an hour, Casey.
Yeah. Well, these summers safe must be really tough. Reynolds had to get an expert like Biff for this job.
You're sure it was Nick Reynolds that we saw go into the house?
Yes, dead sure. He went in with Biff and horseface.
Yeah.
Reynolds' presence here, Annie, means that we guessed right about his deep personal interest in that safe.
Casey, that explosion.
That's from inside the house. It means Biff has had to blow the safe.
Well, then it's open now, and they'll soon be coming out.
That's right.
You're certain the lookout didn't see what you did a while ago?
No, of course he didn't. He was at the end of the block across the street when I was working in the dark.
Yeah, well, I hope the work you did worked.
Let's trust old cowboy Casey. And quiet. Keep back in the shadows. They're coming from the house now.
Head fast. Reynolds is carrying a briefcase.
I see it. The lookout set himself in the car. He's going to drive.
Started the motor.
As soon as the others get in, I'll help him make a good, fast getaway.
Well, if he doesn't start that car fast...
Leave that to me. The others are in the car now.
Reynolds is taking the front seat beside the driver.
That's perfect.
Now they're all in.
It's time for me to impersonate a cop. Here goes. Hey, you fellas in that car!
You made the driver step on the gas, Casey.
And hard. It won't be long now. That did it!
It worked, Casey. The scheme worked.
Couldn't fail. Come on, we got to get Biff out of there.
Yeah.
Hope he braced himself good.
No, well, if he didn't... Oh, look, a man's calling from another
That's Biff.
car.
Okay, fellas, me.
What happened to the car? There's nothing in front of us. There's nothing there now. Suddenly the thing stopped like we hit a stone wall.
I see your 3 playmates went half through the windshield.
Yeah, they're out cold. Casey, what?
Never mind. You haven't got time to ask any questions now. Around that corner, you'll find a black Ford coupe. Here's the key. Get in, drive home quick as you can. And if anybody ever asks you, say you've never been near Riker Avenue. Come on, Biff, get going quick.
Okay, pal, whatever you say, but I'd sure like to know what happened to that car.
Let's see what the sleeping Mr. Reynolds has in his briefcase.
Yeah, I want to see.
A lot of letters, canceled checks, photographs. All incriminating, I imagine. Now, Annie, we'll call the cops.
And then, Casey, you think a gal may safely hope for a bite of dinner?
For soft water shampooing, use Tony Cream Shampoo. Even in the hardest water, Tony Cream Shampoo.
Yes, even in the hardest water, Tony Cream Shampoo gives soft water shampooing that rinses away dandruff instantly. Leaves hair so soft, so smooth, so shining clean. Today, bring out the sparkling beauty of your hair with soft water shampooing. Get the handy tube or jar of Tony Cream Shampoo. It's new.
I'm terribly sorry we can't get you and Casey nothing better out of the kitchen than this cold turkey, Miss Williams. But, of course, the cooks left hours ago.
Oh, I just love cold turkey, Ethelbert. And at this hour of the morning. So much nicer than the dinner I expected to have at the Ritz.
Yeah, well, I'm awful sorry, Annie. I certainly gummed up your day, didn't I?
Don't you ever know when I'm kidding, Casey? I've had a swell day. A real day for Thanksgiving because we accomplished something worthwhile.
Your pal, Annie.
Say, you ain't told me yet how you made that car stop like it had hit a stone wall.
You've seen a lot of Wild West movies, Ethelbert.
Sure.
Well, then you've seen men pulled off running horses with lassos.
Lots of times.
The horse always kept on running.
Yeah?
Well, now imagine the horse was lassoed, not the rider.
The horse had stopped dead.
And its rider would keep on going over its head.
That's what happened to the Crook's getaway car.
You lassoed that car, Casey?
Well, it amounted to that.
Casey brought a very strong 150-foot steel cable out there, Ethelbert.
Yeah, with a hook at both ends.
Now, in the darkness, he hooked one end of his cable to the axle of that car, and the other end to a big tree.
And I made a noise like a cop to startle the driver into a good fast start.
And when the cable paid out to its limit...
Oh, I get it. Yeah, and the only reason Biff Connors wasn't knocked through the windshield like the others was because he'd braced himself like you told him.
That's right. Even he was a little dazed when he climbed out, though.
Oh, well. Anyway, Reynolds and his mob are all washed up, thanks to the stuff in that briefcase. They can't hurt Biff Connors or anyone else.
You two had quite a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
A grand one. Have some more cold turkey, Casey?
Yeah, I think I will, Annie.
And it didn't cost you anything. You saved money by not going to the movies, to the Ritz for dinner, and to a play after.
Well, sure, that's right, yeah.
You can't need all the dough you got on you.
Of course not. Huh?
I hate to dun a friend, Casey, but there's a little matter of that long overdue October bill, and...
He's got you, Casey. A dead to rights.
Oh. If this isn't an ending for a grand day. Here I've been roped in myself.
Well, as my sister Edna says, quote, if you give a calf enough rope, he can't be led to wool. No, you can lead a calf before he crosses... I'll be darned if I don't forget it. Unquote.
Well, all right, pal, after that. Here's what I owe you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, Ethelbert.
Happy Thanksgiving to all.
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Cotsworth as Casey, is directed by John Dietz. It's written by Alonzo Dean Cole and is based on the fictional character of Flash Gun Casey, created by George Harmon Cox. Original music by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Jan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison as the Blue Note pianist. This is Bill Cullen asking you to listen again next week at this same time to another exciting adventure of Crime Photographer, and also inviting you to listen to This is Nora Drake, radio's thrilling serial romance, heard every Monday through Friday, 2:30 p.m. New York time, over most of these stations. Both of these programs brought to you each week by Tony Home Permanent, the wave that gives that natural look, and the new Tony Cream Shampoo for soft water shampooing, even in the hardest water. This is CBS, where 99 million people gather every week, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The wave that gives that natural look is Toni. Tony.
Tony. Tony Home Permanent, the wave that gives that natural look, brings you Crime Photographer. Good evening, everyone. This is Bill Cullen, greeting you for Tony Home Permanent, and inviting you to listen to another adventure of Casey, Crime Photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Our adventure for tonight, Scene of the Crime. Evening in the Blue Note Cafe.
But, Casey, what's so funny? Look, Casey, I don't want to be in the Blue Note all my life. I'm only striving for self-improvement, like the ad said. I am dissatisfied with my present lot.
Well, Bert, that's fine. I admire you. And I guess there are a lot of things that you can learn by correspondence course, but why did you pick on being a detective?
Well, gee whiz, Casey. I want to be like you.
Oh. Well, I'm flattered. Well, in that case, why did you take a course in photography?
Well, you see...
Yeah?
Well, Casey, I don't like to say this,
Well, go
but
on now. Go on.
I think you're a lousy photographer.
What?
But I think you're a swell detective. Swell.
I am the best confounded photographer the Express ever had.
The way you go out and solve cases, the way you catch criminals, I think that's wonderful.
Well, you'll never learn to do that by some correspondence course.
The ad says satisfaction guaranteed.
Oh, sure. Well, what do they call this course, anyway? How to be a detective in 10 easy lessons?
12 easy lessons.
12.
Yeah, I just got the third one this morning. Look.
How to identify an unidentified corpse.
Yes, sir. It tells all about how to identify corpses. Oh, hello, Miss Williams.
Hello, Ethelbert. Come on, Casey.
Huh? Where?
Out to the county turnpike. A murder was just committed there, and the corpse is still unidentified.
Are you a pin-up girl? Not the kind whose pictures the teenagers pin up on the wall, but one who puts her hair up in pin curls night after night? Well, you can save yourself all that trouble easily with Tony Home Permanent. Once you have a Tony, you're carefree, almost as if you had naturally curly hair. Come wind or rain or sleet, you don't have to worry, for your beautiful Tony wave is in to stay. Tony is the permanent that gives you this twin guarantee. Your Tony wave is guaranteed to last just as long as the most expensive wave you've ever had. And your Tony is guaranteed to look more natural or your money back. Tomorrow, get the Tony Kit, complete with plastic curlers for $2. And you'll discover why more than 2 million women each month find long-lasting, carefree loveliness with Tony Home Permanent. The wave that gives that natural look.
Toni, Tony.
Andy, I wonder how Logan's going to feel about this.
I know how he'll feel. Terrible.
Hey, Casey, it sure was a lucky break for you. Joe coming in to relieve me at the Blue Note just as you and Miss Williams was leaving, huh?
Yeah.
Now I can identify your body for you.
Yeah, sure. Well, come on, kids. Let's have a look at it.
Right.
Hiya, Logan. What you got there?
We got the report on the murder.
Oh, hello, Casey, Miss Williams. A murder was committed, all right. A blow on the head. So far, we haven't identified the body. No billfold or anything else that might give us a lead.
Robbery, the motive?
Looks that way, Miss Williams. Take man.
All right, everybody. All right. Stand back. Give him the air.
Ethelbert.
Ethelbert, what are you doing here?
Oh, hello, Captain Logan. I'm taking a course in detecting, and I just...
You.
What? You heard him, Logan. Ethelbert's going to give us a hand detecting.
Oh. It's not bad enough, Casey, to have you on my neck everywhere I
now,
go.
Logan, you know you love
It's not bad enough to have Miss Williams trailing me around.
Why, Captain Logan, how can you be so ungallant?
That's not enough. Now I have to have this...
No, wait a minute, Logan. Just a minute. Come over here, pal, just a minute. I want to talk to you.
Casey, I won't have it.
Logan, you listen to me. I've done some favors for you.
You have not.
I have, and you know it. I'll keep on working with you and doing my darndest to cooperate.
What is this, Casey, an inaugural address?
I'm just asking a favor of you. Now, don't hurt Ethelbert's feelings, or so help me, I'll scuff up every footprint I can find and wipe off every fingerprint in sight.
Oh, you wouldn't.
No, I know I wouldn't. But you wouldn't hurt Ethelbert's feelings either, now, would you, pal?
You're a nice guy, Casey. You really are. The trouble is you got too many dumb friends. All right, let Ethelbert go to work. My tech men have finished anyway.
Yeah, I know. Look, okay. Did you find out who the dead guy is yet, Ethelbert?
Yeah. How about it, Ethelbert?
Well, it's this way. I've checked the deceased for laundry marks, physical characteristics, signs of recent struggle, and other highly indicative points.
Yes?
But I didn't find out who he was.
I see. Okay, boys, cover him up.
Note, however, the state of the cranial section. It has obviously been shattered by a projectile blow, which, for reasons not yet apparent, Hey.
Hey, what?
Hey, I know this guy. His name's Dave Wilson.
What's up, Logan? Boys here at headquarters have any information?
Yeah, the dead man's name was Dave Wilson.
But I already told you that 3 hours ago.
Quiet, Ethelbert. That's official, Logan?
His brother just identified him over at the morgue.
Then it's official.
I ought to know Dave Wilson when I see him.
I'd better get in touch with Annie.
Don't bother. She got the story by phone from Flanagan.
I've known Dave Wilson for 5 years.
Ethelbert, you can go now.
But
we're very grateful to you for identifying Wilson, but we're busy. Go home. Goodbye.
But, Captain Logan, I gotta stay on the case. I've been studying up on how to be a detective, and I think sometimes you, employ archaic methods and proceed from false hypotheses.
Casey, get rid of that guy. Get him out of here.
You'll nothing.
Oh.
Ethelbert, if you want to sit here and listen, you'll have to be very quiet.
All right, Casey. But I did tell him 3 hours ago it was Dave Wilson.
What about Wilson's record, Logan?
Yeah, he hasn't got one.
Not a thing.
Not even a parking ticket.
No, Dave was
Ethelbert?
a very nice guy.
Look, Logan, let's get down to brass tacks. What do we got to go on?
You know, Casey, it looks to me like a gang or grudge killing. It has all the signs.
All the signs except a corpse with a police record. As far as we know, this Wilson was a perfectly law-abiding citizen.
Well, as far as we know, sure.
Dave Wilson wasn't no criminal.
Ethelbert, be quiet.
Dave Wilson wouldn't have got bumped off in no gang killing.
How do you know?
Because Dave Wilson wasn't no crook. He was a very nice guy.
Oh, shut up, Ethelbert. You don't know anything about Dave Wilson.
I know he was a very nice guy. He used to come around the Blue Note almost every week to make a collection.
Collection?
Sure, that was Dave's business. He took bets on the numbers.
Oh.
He what?
Well, you know, you place a bet on the numbers.
Holy jumping Jupiter. Why didn't you say so before?
Huh?
That's the answer.
Gang killing, huh, Logan?
Yeah, you bet.
Who's the top dog in the numbers record now?
Bugs Benson, and he's been trying to pressure all the little guys out of the business.
Well, it looks like he pressured Dave Wilson out of it.
And it looks like we've got him. We'll just pick up Bugs, and he'd better have a darn good alibi or else.
Yeah, say, Ethelbert, that's the second time today you've come up with the right answer. If you're not careful, you'll turn out to be a success.
Hello, Ethelbert. How's our private eye this evening?
Hello, Miss Williams. I was just reading the paper.
You were, huh? What page?
Well,
Don't tell me. Let me guess. Page 2, column 4. Caption under photograph, quote, Ethelbert, bartender at the Blue Note Cafe, who yesterday proved a valuable ally to the police by identifying the body of David Wilson, petty racketeer. Unquote.
Yeah, that's it. It was awful nice of you and Casey to put my picture in the paper, Miss Williams.
Well, you deserved it, Ethelbert.
Yeah. Say, Miss Williams, do you like this picture of me? Maybe a little too much tie?
No.
I don't know. Sometimes Casey's lighting ain't so good. You know, Miss Williams, I think he ought to stick to detective.
I think he ought to stick to photography.
What do you mean?
He's been following Logan's men around all day trying to find Muggs Benson.
Any luck?
No.
Miss Williams, it pains me to say this, but the reason nobody can't find Muggs Benson is that they ain't looking in the right place.
Ethelbert, they've looked everywhere.
Not the right place. It just so happens that I happen to have here with me Chapter 4 of my detecting course, wherein it is printed, and I quote, the criminal always returns to the scene of the crime, unquote.
Ethelbert, criminals do not return to the scene of the crime anymore.
Yeah, but, Miss Williams, it's what it says right here in print.
You can't believe everything you read, Ethelbert.
Well, that's a fine thing for you to say, Miss Williams, a reporter.
Who should know better?
As soon as Joe comes in to relieve me at the bar, I'll drive you out to the scene of the crime.
What for?
To prove the criminal will be there.
No. Ethelbert, you can't just drive to the scene of the crime and conveniently find a criminal waiting there for you.
You'll see, Miss Williams. You'll see. When we arrive at the scene of the crime, there will be a shadowy figure creeping about in the moonlight, searching for telltale clues to remove.
Ethelbert, this is the most ridiculous. Honestly, if Casey ever finds out I came out here...
Miss Williams.
What?
Look over there in the moonlight.
Good heavens.
I shadowy figure creeping about in the moonlight.
What's he doing there?
Searching for telltale clues to remove.
You mean you think it's Muggs Benson?
Why not? Like the lesson said, a criminal always returns to the scene of the crime.
Did the lesson tell you what to do with the criminal when you found him?
Well, in such cases, the approved solution is to detain the fugitive until such time as such help as can be obtained is obtained.
I see. Well, do you think you could detain while I obtain?
Huh?
Do you think you can slug that man and sit on him while I go for help?
Gee, I don't know.
No, if only Casey were here.
What would Casey do?
Well, he'd creep up behind Benson and slug him.
Okay.
Ethelbert, what are you going to do?
Creep up behind Benson and slug him.
Oh, Ethelbert, be careful, please. Remember, it's a murderer.
I'll remember. Okay, you. I got him! I got him, Miss Williams. I got him.
Wonderful, Ethelbert. Can you keep him there while I go and get help?
Sure, he's out cold. And anyhow, I'm sitting on his head.
Well, if he's unconscious, let's take a look at him.
Okay. Gosh, won't Casey be proud of us, Miss Williams?
You certainly will. Have you got a match?
Yeah, sure. Here.
Oh, fine.
I can't wait to see Casey's face.
Ethelbert!
What is it, Miss Williams?
Ethelbert, you said you couldn't wait to see Casey's face.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, then take a good look. This isn't Muggs Benson, Ethelbert. The man you just slugged is Casey.
Huh?
Hi, Ethelbert. Say, what's this I hear about your turning detective? I had to dash right over and find out about it.
Oh, it wasn't nothing, Mr. Cullen. I just happened to know that Dave Wilson.
Well, now that you're famous, I suppose you're going on with this new profession of yours, huh?
Yeah, I guess it's going to be really easy for me to be a detective, especially when I get some more lessons.
Yeah.
But I'd like to go around with Casey all I can for practice, you know. And, of course, I like helping him out.
I'll help you get some practice, Ethelbert. How about it?
Swell, Mr. Cullen.
All right, now I'll give you 3 clues, and by your superpower of deduction, see if you can tell me what I'm talking about, all right? 1, it's a home permanent that's used by more women than all other cold waves combined.
Maybe
2,
you mean...
it's the wave that gives that natural look.
Oh, that...
3, it's the home wave that's guaranteed to last as long as the most expensive beauty shop wave.
Well, give me a
Ethelbert,
chance.
I know right what you're going to say. Tony Home Permanent. You see, everybody knows that Tony gives a wave that's soft and easy to manage, natural looking from the very first moment. With Tony, you get waves so soft they look like naturally curly hair. With Tony, there's no frizzy stage. What's more, it's Tony that gives you this twin guarantee. Your Tony is guaranteed to last just as long as the most expensive wave you've ever had. And your Tony is guaranteed to look more natural or your money back. So get a Tony kit tomorrow. It costs just $1. With plastic curlers that can be used again and again, only $2. When you see how much lovelier you look and how long your Tony lasts, you'll know why each month more than 2 million women use Tony Home Permanent.
More than 2 million?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of women.
Yes, Ethelbert. Now, each month, another 2 million women give themselves lovely Tony waves.
Here, Miss Williams. Bring it into my office.
All right, Captain Logan. Here, Casey. Sit down.
I don't want to sit down. Leave me alone. Logan, how would you like to pinch that nitwit Ethelbert for assault and battery?
I wouldn't think of it.
Oh,
Does your eye still hurt?
of course it hurts. What are you laughing at, Logan?
You, Hawkshaw. That sure is a beautiful shiner. Who'd have thought Ethelbert pegged such a wallop?
Just wait till I get my hands on that bird brain.
Now, Casey, you leave Ethelbert alone. He didn't mean any harm.
What was the idea of going out to the murder spot anyhow, Casey?
Logan, occasionally evidence is found at the scene of the crime. It has happened.
My boys went over the place.
And occasionally your boys miss things. That has happened, too.
Well, here's something they didn't miss. All right, Flanagan, send them in.
Send who in?
Muggs Benson. My boys picked him up a half hour ago.
They did?
Yep. He's in. Oh, hello, Muggs.
Greetings, Captain.
Sit down.
Thanks. I hear you've been looking for me.
That's putting it mildly, Muggs.
I also hear you got a notion that I bumped off Dave Wilson.
Right again.
Well, for old time's sake, Captain, I'm going to give you a little tip. You're wrong.
Pretty sure of yourself, huh, Muggs?
All right, Casey. Yeah, I'm pretty sure myself.
Yeah? All right, let's have it. What's your alibi this time?
Well, according to the time Sergeant Flanagan tells me the killing took place, I happened to be at a basketball game at the Armory.
Can you prove that?
Sure, I can prove it. I was sitting right next to Judge Sibley. Have a cigar, Captain.
All right, Muggs. Judge Sibley corroborates your story. You can go now.
Thanks, Captain.
But don't go too far.
Why should I? So long, all.
So Muggs didn't have a thing to do with his killing, Logan. Call me in the morning if you need any help.
Call you? I happen to have a police department at my disposal.
Doing great, too, isn't it? Call me in the morning.
Oh,
Ethelbert, what?
Casey, when you opened that door, you got me right in the eye.
That makes us even.
What was your eye doing there, anyhow?
I was looking through the keyhole at Muggs Benson. Casey, he ain't the criminal type. The criminal type has got broad, flat features, small eyes, jutting chin, Gee whiz, Captain Logan, you were a perfect criminal type.
Yeah.
What? Ethelbert, look, suppose you just go back to the Blue Note Cafe.
Joe's over there relieving me. I gotta stay on this case.
Sorry, Ethelbert, but I'm afraid there isn't any case.
A guy got killed, wasn't he?
Yeah, we haven't got a case against anyone.
Well, then we gotta make one. Justice has gotta triumph.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to triumph tonight. I'm going home.
Oh, no, you're not. Burke wants the story and some pictures of the bereaved family. We've got to take a run over there.
Swell, I'll go with you. Like it says in Lesson 2.
Huh?
Lesson 2. The answer to a perplexing problem is often to be found in the daily trivia of the personages involved therein. Come on, what are we waiting for?
I'm sorry my mother isn't in, Mr. Casey, but she's awfully upset about Dave's accident, and I don't think she ought to talk to the newspapers anyhow.
Oh, I see. Well, Mr. Wilson.
Buddy. My name's Buddy Wilson.
Yeah, well, Buddy, I'd like to get a few shots of the house and of you, and Miss Williams here would like a few facts.
Well, gee, sure.
I'll wait in the next room, Casey.
Yeah, sure, Ethelbert. We won't be long.
All right, now your name is Buddy Wilson.
That's right.
And the murdered man was your brother.
Uh-huh.
How about looking over here for a minute, Buddy? That's it. Hold it. Thank you.
Your older brother, Buddy?
Yes. Dave was 30, but I'm older than I look.
Oh, how old?
21.
You have no idea who might have killed your brother, Buddy?
No, ma'am. I didn't know much about Dave at all, except that he gave Mom a lot of worry. I just tried to keep her from knowing too much about his kind of work.
Well, okay, that does it for me. How about you, Annie?
Yeah, I've got what I want.
Ethelbert.
You call me, Casey?
Yeah, we're ready to go now. Just pack up these film holders.
Just a minute. Mr. Wilson, would you turn around that way for a minute?
Well, sure, but...
Uh-huh. Now the other profile, please.
Ethelbert, what the...
Uh-huh. Okay, Casey, I'm ready to go.
What in the name of heaven was the idea of that last rigmarole about Buddy Wilson's profile?
Casey, Miss Williams, that man is the murderer. I can tell.
What do you mean you can tell?
Criminal type written all over his face. I was studying his contours.
That blue-eyed, blonde-haired little cherub, Ethelbert, he's got a baby face.
So had Babyface Nelson. That man is a killer, Miss Williams, and I got the proof of it on this box.
Ethelbert, where'd you get that cigarette box?
From Buddy Wilson's house. I swiped it.
Are you crazy? You could be arrested for stealing that.
Casey. Don't touch. I'm going to take it back as soon as I look for fingerprints.
Oh, well, what good are fingerprints? We don't have any of the murderer to compare these with.
This box is going to be lousy with Buddy Wilson's fingerprints.
Well, of course it is. It's his cigarette box. Why wouldn't it have his prints on it?
Casey, you're just belittling on account of you didn't think of it yourself.
Oh, Ethelbert.
All right. But if I was you, I'd investigate Buddy Wilson right away.
Well, I'm certainly not going to.
All right. Let a criminal escape. Ignore justice.
I'm not ignoring justice.
Might as well just open the jail doors. Might as well give everybody a gun.
It has nothing to do with it.
Can't even take the trouble to investigate a vicious criminal. Can't
All right. Now, all right. I'll investigate Buddy Wilson. But for one reason only, understand?
What's that?
To keep you quiet.
speaking.
Hello, Ethelbert. This is Casey. I just wanted to tell you that I've been checking Buddy Wilson's record.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'll read you what I have. Buddy Wilson. Criminal offenses? None. Arrests? None. Occupation? Salesman. General remarks? Graduated high school with honors. Class valedictorian. Sings in church choir. Sole support of aging widowed mother. Well, how's that for a record, Ethelbert?
It's fine, Casey. Just fine.
We all make mistakes sometimes, Ethelbert.
Yeah, sure.
Well, you'd better return that cigarette box you swiped from Wilson.
Yeah, sure.
You find any fingerprints on it?
Yeah, sure.
Whose?
Mine.
Hey, Herman, Walter says your dinner's ready in the back room and there's no customers in the place, so why don't you knock off? Now, let's see, where was I? Uh-huh. The study of ballistics is extremely complicated.
Excuse me.
Particular phase of detection is...
Excuse me.
Oh, I didn't hear you come in, sir. Hey, you're Buddy Wilson.
That's right.
Well, you know, Buddy Wilson. What can I do for you?
I'd like my cigarette box, please.
Oh, sure. I was planning to take it back to you tomorrow, but now that you're here...
I'll save you the trip. May I have it, please?
Well, sure, I got it right here. Your cigarettes are all still in it. I couldn't get the box open.
It's a trick Chinese box. You have to know the right combination to get it open.
Yeah, I guess you have to know just where to press. It's a pretty box. Here you are. Oh, I'm sorry. I dropped it. I didn't break. Money.
You awkward fool.
There was money in it.
That's right. $10,000.
I didn't know that. Honest, I wasn't trying to swipe no money. I only took the box because I figured you was the man who murdered your brother.
I was. That's how I got the $10,000.
Yeah, I figured there might have been some reason why you might have done it. I'm studying up on how to be a detective, and Oh, my God. Oh, my gosh, you killed him. You're the killer.
When I came here for my box, I figured you to be stupid enough not to open it, so I had some hope of recovering some money I desperately need. But now, come with me.
Why?
I'll have to kill you, too.
Casey speaking. Oh, hello, Harmon. What? He did? Out of the Blue Note? What did the guy look like? I see. Okay, Harmon. Thanks. Thanks very much. Look, Logan, I don't know who he was. I don't know at all, but Herman said, Herman, you know, the piano player at the Blue Note, he said he'd never seen the guy before, but the description sounded like Buddy Wilson. And Herman said it looked as though he forced Ethelbert to leave at the point of a gun.
Well, I still don't see why we're driving out here.
Because if Buddy Wilson is the one who picked up Ethelbert, it's my guess that he took him to the same spot he took his brother. For the same purpose.
Well, the murder spot's right around this bend.
All right. Pull up beside the road now and be quiet. Get your gun ready.
What for?
Just get your gun ready. I don't see anybody. No. Let's move up this way. There. Just beyond that fir tree. I see. Yeah, that's Buddy Wilson, all right. He's got a gun on Ethelbert. Logan, don't miss. Hurry, but don't miss. Good boy. Ethelbert, are you all right?
Hello, Casey. Hello, Captain Logan.
Hey, Logan. Logan, quick. Get some water. Ethelbert just fainted.
For soft water shampooing, use Tony Cream Shampoo. Even in the hardest water, Tony Cream Shampoo.
Yes, even in the hardest water, Tony Cream Shampoo gives soft water shampooing that rinses away dandruff instantly. Leaves hair so soft, so smooth, so shining clean. Today, bring out the sparkling beauty of your hair with Tony Cream Shampoo. Get the handy tube or jar. Tony Cream Shampoo. It's for you.
Gee, Ethelbert, you're wonderful.
I am?
You really are, Ethelbert, yeah?
Well, gee, I don't know. I had to get my life saved.
Oh, no. You saved your own life.
I did?
Certainly. You taught me that a criminal always returns to the scene of the crime, and that's what saved you.
Hey, that's right.
Say, tell me, Ethelbert, why did Buddy kill his brother?
One of the two most commonest motives there is. Money.
The money that was in the cigarette box?
You deduced correctly. Buddy had to hide that money fast the night we went to interview him, and the first place he seen turned out to be said cigarette box, which I swiped.
Remarkable, Ethelbert, remarkable.
But, Casey, you'll have to get along without me.
Why? Why, Ethelbert? What do you mean?
I've decided to drop my detective course in favor of something more refined.
Refined? What?
They're going to give me credit toward my diploma for those detecting lessons I took, so I switched over to how to identify well-known wildflowers. Here's lesson 1 right here.
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Cotsworth as Casey, is directed by John Dietz. Tonight's story, written by Harry Ingram, and is based on the fictional character of Flash Gun Casey, created by George Harmon Cox. Original music by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Jan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison is the Blue Note pianist. Bill Cullen asking you to listen again next week at the same time to another exciting adventure of Crime Photographer, and also inviting you to listen to This Is Nora Drake, radio's thrilling serial romance, heard every Monday through Friday, 2:30 p.m. New York time, over most of these stations. Both of these programs brought to you each week by Tony Home Permanent, the wave that gives that natural look, and the new Tony Cream Shampoo for soft water shampooing even in the hardest water. And now stay tuned for the Hallmark Playhouse featuring Meredith Wilson in And There I Stood with My Piccolo, which follows immediately over most of these CBS stations. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The wave that gives that natural look is Toni. Tony.
Tony Home Permanent, the wave that gives that natural look, brings you Crime Photographer. Good evening, everyone. This is Bill Cullen greeting you for Tony Home Permanent and inviting you to listen to another adventure of Casey, Crime Photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole, our adventure for tonight, The Wolverine. Blue Note Cafe, shortly before 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Well, I was wondering when you two would show up.
Hi, Ethelbert. Hi.
Hello, Ethelbert.
Just coming in from an assignment?
Yeah, not a pretty one either.
Say, what kind of assignment were you on?
Read about it in the noon edition, pal.
I was just looking over the noon edition. Casey, were you covering the murder of them 3 gangsters, Bobo Gussick and his 2 pals?
That's been our job.
The paper said the cops learned their bodies could be found in that beach house through an anonymous phone call.
That's right.
You read my story, all right.
What wasn't in your story, Miss Williams? The real lowdown, huh?
Well, strictly off the record, Ethelbert.
Yeah?
Joe Schuster's being very severely questioned about the triple murder.
I've heard a rumor that Schuster was gunning for Bobo Gussick. How about clues at the scene of the crime?
No leads were found except, well, it's a funny little thing.
Most peculiar.
What?
A crude drawing was found clutched in Bobo Gussick's hand. An amateurish pen and ink sketch of Well, it looked like a cross between a weasel and a bear.
Oh, there ain't no such animal.
I never heard of such a combination.
Well,
anyway.
if the sketch is a lead, it's a very obscure one.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me. Bruno Cafe, Ethelbert speaking.
Well, let's go to a table and get some food under our belts, Annie, shall we?
Come on.
Just a minute. Don't go away, Casey. It's for you.
Who is it?
Your city desk, Mr. Burke.
Oh, wouldn't you? Oh, nuts. Let's see what he wants. Hello, Burke. Well, listen, we were just going to have something to eat. Can't we even... Huh? Huh. Yeah. Well, okay, we'll be right over.
What is it, Casey?
Annie, Burke's just received a screwball letter to the editor that might turn into hot copy. The guy who wrote it says that he killed Bobo and his two pals, and he promises to knock off another couple of gangsters today.
Have you looked into your mirror lately and wondered what to do about your hair? Well, let me suggest an answer. A lovely Tony Home Permanent. Your hair will be soft and natural looking from the very first day. You'll have just the right amount of curl, and your wave will last for months. You know, a Tony wave is guaranteed to last just as long as the most expensive beauty shop wave, and guaranteed to look more natural or your money back. No wonder each month another 2 million women have beautiful Tony waves. A Tony costs just $1, with plastic curlers $2. Get a Tony kit tomorrow and give yourself the loveliest, longest-lasting wave you've ever had. A Tony Home Permanent. The wave that gives that natural look.
Toni, Tony.
Listen to this letter, Casey. You too, William.
Yeah, we're listening, Burke.
Go ahead, read it.
City Editor, Morning Express, blah, 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 blah. Dear sir, several hours before you receive this, the police will have discovered the dead bodies of a racketeer known as Bobo Gussick and two of his lieutenants. I killed them for a multiple reason. One, a civilized society will be better off without them. Two, men of their type habitually carry large sums of money. And three, I find it amusing to pit my wits against both the underworld and the police. In this last, I resemble the sagacious animal whom I have selected as my identifying trademark, the Wolverine. Another sketch of it will be found today.
Well, that means that...
Yeah, the guy promises it's another murder. Now, here's the finish. You gentlemen of the press are invited to join with the police and their criminal quarries in what will prove to be a hopeless battle with the Wolverine.
The Wolverine?
That's the signature. I think he's the killer, but he's a nut, too.
The evidence of this letter, he's an educated
Well,
guy.
what kind of an animal is a Wolverine?
Well, I've read they're the toughest, meanest, most intelligent animals in existence.
I'll have research dig up complete dope on them so we can give this letter a good dressing up when we run it on page 1.
Going to show it to the cops before you run it?
Why should I? The writer of this letter may be pulling a fast one, just a gag. Wait a second. City desk, Burke speaking. Yes? Who is this speaking?
Casey, the Wolverine.
Where's that? Highland Road? Half a mile north of the old brick church and a clump of maple trees. What? Look, who is this? Who? Huh? He's hung up. You got that address, Casey?
Yeah.
This nut, the Wolverine, says he's kept his promise.
This may still be a gag, Burke, but Ann and I are starting for Highland Road and that clump of maple trees right now. Find anything yet, Annie?
Not a thing. The shade of those big maples is so dense, Casey.
It's almost like night in here. Holy...
You found something?
Plenty. Come here. Practically stumbled over this guy's body.
Body?
Look at the holes in his chest. Apparently the Wolverine isn't just a gag.
Casey, look.
What?
Over there.
That boy, see it? It's another dead guy.
Yeah. He was mostly hidden behind that tree trunk.
Uh-huh. Annie, we knew this guy.
I can't look at his face.
It's Ed Mason.
The numbers operator?
Yeah. A racketeer like Bobo. The other stiff used to be his chief muscle man, Herb Frankel. Well, come on, Annie. I'll get my camera from the car and shoot pictures of this while you find a phone, call Burke and the cops.
Casey?
What?
Something's moving over there. Coming this way.
Yes, I hear it.
I can see now. It's a man.
Yeah.
Maybe he's the Wolverine.
He's not gunning for newspaper stiffs. Who's that there?
Hello, Casey. I thought I recognized your car parked out there.
Foster.
Afternoon, Miss Williams.
Oh, it's only you, Foster.
And who did you think I was? The Wolverine?
What do you know about the Wolverine?
I work for a newspaper, too, you know. Not a high-circulation bourgeois paper like your Morning Express, but our exclusive little daily Standard-Bearer gets letters to the editor, and since we meet in this place, I assume we were brought here by the same reason.
You got a letter?
Followed by a phone call from the ambitious gentleman who calls himself the Wolverine.
Burke isn't going to run this story as an exclusive, Annie.
You two find anything among these trees?
Well, if we told you no, you'd look around for yourself, so look there.
Well, thanks, old chap. These gentlemen seem to be deceased.
That's putting it mildly.
Now, this Wolverine is assuming the proportions of an interesting character. Oh, by the way, do you know what a Wolverine really is?
Yes.
Really? You surprise me.
Why?
Journalists employed by the Standard-Bearer are required to have a general knowledge of almost everything. They're all college graduates, you know. But you Morning Express...
Yeah, all we've got to know is news values. You recognize either of these dead guys, Foster?
No, can't say I do.
Really? You surprise me.
Do you know who they are?
Mm-hmm. And you can read all about them in the Morning Express. Okay, Annie, start looking for a phone. Give Burke our story. Oh, by the way, Foster, why didn't your classy Standard-Bearer send a photographer with you?
Because we of the Standard-Bearer have multiple talents, Casey. I have a camera in my car, and after taking suitable photographs, I shall make some effective and exclusive pencil sketches of this gruesome scene.
These bodies are exactly as Ann and I found them, Logan. I didn't let Foster disturb anything.
I made no attempt to disturb evidence, Captain.
I didn't say you made an attempt.
Your implication was clear enough.
David! There's a piece of paper clutched in the hand of this dead guy. Look, it's the same bum sketch of a cockeyed-looking animal we found on Bobo Gussick.
I wouldn't say it's a bum sketch, Captain. It's the most effective, impressionistic drawing of a Wolverine.
Impressionistic, eh?
Why, as Foster knows, among his other talents, he can draw pictures.
Do you recognize these dead men, Captain?
Yeah,
Logan,
this one's Ed Mason. The stiff over there was his bodyguard, Herb Franco.
Oh, nuts.
What's the matter, Casey?
Nothing at all.
Nothing at all. Now I shall return to my paper with a full story. Good day, Miss Williams and gentlemen.
Good day.
So long, Foster.
Yeah, so long.
Funny guy, that fellow.
Pain in the neck, and so's his lousy paper.
Hey, this Wolverine gave his sheet the same break yours got.
Yes, it did.
Well, anyway, the Wolverine makes good on his promises.
Crooks like Bobo Gussick and Ed Mason and the Red Hots who've been killed with him are cagey guys, Logan. In order to get 2 of them in these woods and 3 in that beach house, this Wolverine must be somebody they knew and trusted.
Yeah.
Logan, have you turned Joe Schuster loose yet?
No, but I'll have to now. Anyway, I was pretty well convinced he was clean on the Gussick killing before the Wolverine claimed the credit.
Well, have him freed right away, will you? So I can pay him a friendly visit at his tavern hangout tonight.
So you can...
Yes, Joe Schuster was a pal of Ed Mason's. He should know about guys who could have trapped Mason. And Schuster may talk to me as he wouldn't talk to any cop.
Yeah, Joe Schuster's back in his private office, Casey. And he ain't in very good humor on account of the cops trying to hand him a bum rap for that Gussick bump-off. I don't know whether he'll see you or not.
Well, tell him I'm not here on newspaper business, Leo. Say I want to give him a straight talk on the Gussick bump-off, Ed Mason's bump-off, and the Wolverine.
Hey, you got any inside dope on that mug who calls herself the Wolverine?
My paper carried a story about it. You know?
Yeah. Just your paper and a Standard-Bearer. The guy Foster from the Standard-Bearer was here a while ago to see Joe.
What? Yes?
Yeah, Joe talked to him because Foster'd been a pal of Ed Mason's before he got bumped off.
Foster was a pal of Mason's?
Well, not a pal exactly, but he and Mason knew each other pretty well.
But did Foster know Herb Frankel, too?
Sure. Hey, Manny.
Yeah?
Come here and keep Casey company while I go and see the boss, huh?
Yeah, okay, Leo.
I'll give Joe your message, Casey.
Yeah, thanks, Leo.
Yeah, I'm drinking a Tom Collins, Casey. Will I have the barkeep fix you one?
Oh, no, thanks, Manny. No. Leo says Joe Schuster isn't in very good humor today.
Well, can you blame him? You know, them cops wasn't very nice to Joe.
Yeah, Schuster's had a tough break.
Yeah, but he'll stop burning after he gets a few laughs from Doc Avon.
Doc Avon? Who's he?
Yeah, the little Doc's with him now. He's one of them comical guys who don't mean to be funny. You ever meet him?
No, I never met him.
Well, you got it. He's a college professor.
He's a college professor?
Yeah, he teaches that psychological stuff. He's making a study of us guys in the racket. And we're making a study of him.
Yeah. Manny, I understand Foster, the standard bearer, knew Ed Mason and Herb Frankel pretty well.
Yeah, that Foster's another one of them snooty, educated guys who's good for laughs. Hey, Leo's coming back.
Boss will see you in a minute, Casey.
Yes, well, Leo, thanks.
Yeah, he's just about...
Casey.
Here, Schuster.
He's come on himself to tell you the whole deal.
Stick around. I gotta make a phone call. It'll only take a minute.
Okay, I'll wait.
You go out and talk to the guy's doc. I see you later.
Well, I'd like to ask you one more question, Mr. Schuster. If you step back in here.
Okay, but make it snappy.
Oh, I shall.
Yeah, the boss is a sap for that Doc Avon.
Yeah, why not, Leo? You know that little Doc is good for a million laughs.
Not to me. I don't go for them their highbrows.
Thanks very much, Mr. Schuster. Your answer's been most helpful now. I shan't trouble you any more.
So the boss gave you the right answer, huh, Doc?
Yes, Manny. He helps me immensely in my studies.
Yeah, shake hands with Casey here. Casey, this is our pal, Doc Avon.
Howdy, Doc.
A pleasure, Mr. Casey. You are an associate of these gentlemen?
Well, in a way, I'm a press photographer.
Dear, how interesting.
Ain't this guy a scream, Casey?
I beg your pardon.
No offense, Doc. Hey, how about joining me in a nice cold Tom Collins?
Manny, I have told you many times that my stomach cannot tolerate the lemon juice that is a composite part of your favorite drink. And I've warned you that citric acid may be bad for your constitution.
Well, it ain't never hurt me yet.
What I will have, and always have, once daily, is a small glass of dry sherry.
I'll go get it for you. Hey, get this guy talking, Casey. He'll kill you. I'll be back in a minute.
What paper are you with, Mr. Casey?
Morning Express, Doc.
Oh, it carried the story about that Wolverine today.
Yeah, in the final edition.
Distressing affair. I was acquainted with the men he killed.
You were?
Yeah, Doc's got himself in solid with all the guys, Casey.
It's kind of you to say that, Leo. I'm conducting certain psychological studies among people in, various walks of life, Mr. Casey.
Yes, so I've been told.
The boss should have finished that phone call by now. I'll go see what's keeping.
Yeah, I wish you would, Leo. Well, have you succeeded in finding out what makes these gang guys tick, Doc?
Well, I've arrived at some interesting conclusions, Mr. Casey.
Why?
Come quick!
Leo, what is
Look, in Joe's office.
The boss!
Got a knife in his throat.
He was lying like that when I opened up this door.
Mr. Casey, there's paper on the floor beside Mr. Schuster's body.
Let me see that paper, Doc.
Here, it's a pen and ink sketch of a Wolverine.
Oh, Mr. Cullen, I thought you was Casey. I got a swell riddle poem especially for him.
Can't you tell me?
Oh, sure. Listen.
All right.
You have to guess what animal I'm writing about.
Okay, let's hear it.
Yeah. I ain't a weasel and I ain't a bear, but I mean murder, so beware.
That's good.
And if you read the Morning Express, what I am, you should guess.
Oh, that's a Wolverine. Picture one was found in a dead man's hand. I read all about it in the noon edition.
Gee, you got it fast.
Oh,
you sure are smart, Mr.
Oh,
Cullen.
you're the one who's smart, Ethelbert. How about doing a riddle poem especially for me, all right?
Well, let me think.
All right.
I got it.
Go ahead.
Everyone thinks she has a natural curl, but the actual fact is she's
A Tony girl? Yes, people simply can't tell which is the girl with the natural curl and which is the girl with the Tony. That's because gentle Tony waves actually look and feel like naturally curly hair. Over and over again, Tony users write of the same experience. People ask if their hair is naturally curly. Even on the very first day, there's no frizziness, no harsh effect. Tony waves look natural from the first moment, and they're so shiny, soft, and silky, they're so easy to set and style. You'll enjoy doing your hair when you see how beautifully it behaves with the Tony, and you'll be pleased with yourself when you look in your mirror, for you get such lovely results, sure results. Remember, Tony is the only permanent that gives you this twin guarantee. Your Tony wave is guaranteed to last just as long as the most expensive wave you've ever had, and your Tony is guaranteed to look more natural or your money back. No wonder more than 2 million women each month choose Tony Home Permanent.
More than 2 million?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of women.
Yes, each month another 2 million women have lovely, long-lasting Tony waves. How about you?
Now, Casey, you've heard Dr. Avon, Manny, Leo, the bartender, and all the customers that were in this joint here. Give me their versions of the discovery of the killing. How do their stories stack up with what you saw?
100%, pal. I know that Joe Schuster was alive only a few minutes before we found him dead because I saw him, and I talked to him. And not more than 30 or 40 seconds later, I heard Doc Avon talking to him as he left Schuster's office. When Leo went to the door to call Schuster, he was never out of my sight for a minute.
You're sure of that?
I'm positive. I saw Leo open the door. He didn't go inside. He just stood there and yelled at us to come and look, so the Wolverine had to come in the back door.
So the Wolverine remains a big unknown.
Yeah. What did the medical examiner have to say?
Well, the knife went through Schuster's neck in such a way he couldn't make a sound. The Wolverine either made a lucky thrust or he knew anatomy.
Logan, I watched Foster drawing pictures today. He's a pretty good artist. Artists know anatomy.
Foster?
Yeah, the standard bearer. Another thing. Tonight, I've learned that Foster was well acquainted with Ed Mason and Herb Frankel. And yet this afternoon, when he saw their dead bodies, he denied that he knew either one of them.
You'd think
Lastly, Foster was in this office with Joe Schuster just a little while before I got here. So he knew about the back door. I think you'd better talk to Mr. Foster.
My dear Casey, I pretended that I didn't recognize the bodies of Mason and Frankel this afternoon simply to, pull your leg. It amused me to play on your conceited belief that you possessed knowledge I didn't have.
Oh, yeah? You know, Foster, the Wolverine's letter reads a great deal like you talk.
Which only means that he, like myself, is a man of culture.
You admit it.
Are you so naive to believe I am the Wolverine, Captain Logan?
I may answer that after you account for your movements after you left Schuster tonight.
I'll not only do that, I'll prove an alibi for the time of the Bobo Gussick murders and of the Mason killings. My dear Captain.
Well, Casey, I'm told your suspicions of our little pal Foster blew up with a loud bang this morning.
Don't believe everything you hear, Annie. They only seem to blow up.
Well, he established alibis for all of those 3 killings, and Logan turned him loose.
Logan turned him loose with the notion that given a good long rope, Foster may hang himself. Those alibis of his aren't altogether tight by any means.
Oh?
And I'm going to try to loosen them still more.
How?
Well, first, we're paying a visit to Doc Avon.
Doc Avon?
Yeah.
Oh, because he was the last man to see Schuster alive?
No, because he's a psychologist. I want to get his professional opinion of Foster and of the Wolverine.
I'm really not sufficiently acquainted with Mr. Foster to venture an opinion of his character. I've talked to the gentleman only a few times, Mr. Casey.
Yeah, but you're a trained observer, Doc. I mean, even in those few times, he must have left an impression on you.
Well, yes. I'd say the young man is egocentric, perhaps with more than a touch of megalomania.
You mean,
Dr. Avon means that Foster likes himself, Casey. That he's obsessed with his own importance.
Oh, thanks, Annie. Oh, well, that's the way we've had him pegged. From what we know of the Wolverine, wouldn't you say that he was the same kind of a guy, Doc?
Oh, dear, no.
Huh?
Oh, I think his letter is quite expressive of his personality. He wants money, he has a contempt for common criminals, and he's a man of brains who, probably bored by a drab life, has decided to play a dangerous and exciting game. I wrote that brief analysis in my diary last night. I habitually make notes of my thoughts, and of course the Wolverine was very much on my mind.
Oh, naturally, since you've just come from a police inquiry over his latest victim.
Well, I had to deliver a lecture this morning, so you won't think me rude if I beg
no,
to
of course not.
No, we'll be on our way.
Oh, no, you don't have to rush. I always have a glass of milk before I go to the classroom. Won't you join me?
No, thanks.
Oh, a glass of milk sounds kind of good to me.
Fine. I'll get it from the refrigerator. As you see, when I move this screen, I have a little kitchenette in this one-room apartment.
Yeah. Doc, I heard you say last night that...
Yes?
You knew Gussick and Mason as well as you knew Schuster.
Well, I've become acquainted with many of the criminal fraternity in the course of my studies. I find them most curious people. Here's your milk, Mr. Casey.
Thanks, much obliged.
Sure you won't join us, Miss Williams?
No, thanks.
The Wolverine must have lifted quite a roll from Schuster's pocket last night, huh?
The police informed me that a search had revealed that his wallet was missing.
Yeah. Well, thanks. We'll be running along now. Thanks for the milk and everything.
You're quite welcome.
What time will you be back here after your lecture, just in case we want to get in touch with you?
In about 2 hours.
Well, we may see you then. Yeah, so long.
Oh, goodbye, Dr. Avon.
Goodbye.
Annie, hurry. Down these stairs. I want to buy an electric iron.
An electric
The
iron?
nearest hardware store. Then when the professor's gone, we're bringing it back here.
What?
I got a hunch Doc Avon is the Wolverine.
Casey, by your own testimony, Schuster was alive when Dr. Avon left his office.
I'm revising my testimony, Annie. I merely heard Avon talking and concluded he was speaking to a live guy. It takes only a few seconds to drive a knife into a guy's throat and grab his wallet. But because it was done so quickly and so cleverly, even I was giving Avon an alibi until I saw those lemons in his kitchenette.
Lemons?
Yes, last night. He said he was allergic to lemons.
Now, Casey, have you gone crazy? Lemons, electric iron.
Avon habitually makes notes of all his thoughts, Annie. I think you'll see the connection when we get back to his room. I found Avon's diary, Annie.
Oh, let me see it.
Here. Here's the page he wrote last night after Schuster was killed.
Well, it merely tells of the murder. His bewildered reaction to it. And his analysis of the Wolverine, which he told us he put down.
Uh-huh. All perfectly innocent on the surface. Let's run this hot iron over the page. Maybe we'll read between the lines.
More writing appears. Casey, he used invisible ink.
Used plain lemon juice, Anne, which is completely absorbed by paper until heat is applied. It makes it take on color. I learned the lemon juice trick as a kid. And Avon's only reason for having lemons in this place had to be for secret writing.
And the secret writing says my plan to destroy Schuster was as perfect in execution as it was in conception.
I thrust the knife exactly right, and he slid to the floor without a sound.
My alibi was firmly established, and nobody remotely suspected that I am...
The Wolverine.
Avon.
Be quiet, both of you, if you want.
We see the 45 in your hand, Doc. Huh? You came home sooner than we expected.
Mr. Casey, the Wolverine is acutely sensitive to danger, so I returned without making my lecture. Now the would-be trappers are trapped.
You can't afford to spring any traps in your own home, Doc.
On the contrary, you entered my home without my permission. You have no more right to be here than have common thieves. I have a legal right to destroy those who threaten my property.
Oh, Casey.
Like the Wolverine, Miss Williams, when I trap the trappers, they are really trapped.
Oh!
What was that?
Something struck him, Casey, and knocked him down.
Well, there was a camera that hit him.
A good pitch, wouldn't you say?
Buster!
Yes. I've been watching this interesting scene from the fire escape outside that open window. When things seemed to be getting hot, I thought I'd better do something, and my camera was all I had to do it with.
Oh, boy, well, I'll get you a new camera. That was a grand job you did, and that camera knocked the doc cold.
Well, how did you happen to be on the phone?
I had my own little suspicions of Dr. Avon and decided to keep an eye on him. I was doing just that.
Well, thank heaven.
Yes, and thank you, Foster.
Well, don't mention it, my dear Casey.
I guess a guy can be wrong about a guy once in a while.
For soft water shampooing, use Tony Cream Shampoo. Even in the hardest water, Tony Cream Shampoo.
Yes, even in the hardest water, Tony Cream Shampoo gives soft water shampooing that rinses away dandruff instantly, leaves hair so soft, so smooth, so shining clean. Today, bring out the sparkling beauty of your hair with Tony Cream Shampoo. Get the handy tube or jar. Tony Cream Shampoo. It's for you.
That Doc Avon had written all about his killings in that diary, huh, Casey?
Yes, Ethelbert, in lemon juice.
And now his habit of writing down his thoughts will put an end to his thoughts. In the chair.
Just the same, you didn't do so good on this one, Casey. Until almost the very last, your big suspect was a guy who finally saved your lives.
Yeah, I was sure all wrong about Foster, wasn't I? You know, that fella has the makings of a first-class newspaper man.
Like you?
Well, Casey won't go that far.
Oh, only because great newspaper men are never snooty, my dear Miss Williams.
Huh?
Come on, Annie, should we be off?
Well, see you in the comics, Casey.
Yeah. Oh, hey, that reminds me.
Oh, yeah.
I want to tell our friends that the first issue of the Crime Photographer comic book is now on all the newsstands.
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Cotsworth as Casey, is produced and directed by John Dietz. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole and is based on the fictional character of Flash Gun Casey, created by George Harmon Cox. Original music by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Jan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison is the Blue Note pianist. This is Bill Cullen asking you to listen again next week at this same time to another exciting adventure of Crime Photographer. And also inviting you to listen to This is Nora Drake, radio's thrilling serial romance heard every afternoon, Monday through Friday, over most of these stations. Consult your local paper for the exact time. Both of these programs brought to you each week by Tony Home Permanent, the wave that gives that natural look, and the new Tony Cream Shampoo for soft water shampooing, even in the hardest water. Next Saturday, be sure to tune in the Gillette broadcast of the annual running of the Kentucky Derby from 6:15 to 6:45 Eastern Daylight Time over most of these stations. Hallmark Playhouse, starring Linda Darnell in Mother, follows immediately. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
The wave that gives that natural look is T-O-N-I, Tony.
Tony Home Permanent, the wave that gives that natural look, brings you Crime Photographer. Good evening, everyone. This is Bill Cullen greeting you for Tony Home Permanent and inviting you to listen to another adventure of Casey, Crime Photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole, our adventure for tonight, Cupid is a Killer. Early evening in the Blue Note Cafe. Casey and Ann Williams are perched on two tall stools when...
Ethelbert! Your phone's ringing.
Answer it. It might be important.
I'm coming. Just bringing up some lemons.
Well, hurry up.
I'm coming. Hello? Blue Note Cafe, Ethelbert speaking. Yeah, he's here.
What?
It's for you, Casey, your city desk.
Give me it. Hello, Bert. Yeah, Miss Williams is here with me right now. Okay, Bert. Right, we'll be right over. Yes, so long.
Now what, Casey?
An assignment for you? A murder, maybe?
So right you are, Ethelbert. Come on, Annie.
Yeah, but who, where...
We'll give you the details when we get back. So long, pal.
Have you been wondering how you can afford a new permanent just when you want some new clothes for summer? Well, Tony Home Permanent is your answer. A Tony costs only $1, and yet there's no lovelier, longer lasting wave at any price. For Tony gives you this twin guarantee. Your Tony wave is guaranteed to last just as long as the most expensive wave you've ever had. And your Tony is guaranteed to look more natural or your money back. So get a Tony Home Permanent for only $1 with plastic curlers $2. And save money for new summer clothes by giving yourself the loveliest wave you've ever had with Tony Home Permanent. The wave that gives that natural look.
T-O-N-I, Tony.
This man was shot by someone who was outside, Logan. A bullet came through that window.
That's right, Casey. The killer was across the street in a parked automobile. He used a high-powered rifle.
Rifle?
He found the slug that went through this guy's skull, 30-30.
I remember 2 other killings that fit this pattern, Logan. Guys shot in the head from a car with a 30-30 rifle.
Yep, I'm thinking of the same 2 previous killings, Casey.
You figure Bat McCoy did the shooting?
Sure.
Bat McCoy?
This is his very successful method of knocking off guys who get in his way, Miss Williams. Of course, I'll have him picked up for questioning, but he'll have a 22-carat alibi ready as usual, and we won't even be able to hold him.
You identified the dead guy, Logan?
Yeah, he's a young fella, Benny Thrush. He played piano over at Bat McCoy's Purple Slipper Cafe.
Why would a big shot like Bat McCoy want to bump off a piano player?
I'll tell you. You two know a gal named Valerie Hooper. She used to be a cashier at Schmidt's restaurant.
Yeah, we know her.
Yeah, we often eat at Schmidt.
Pretty kid, isn't she?
Yeah, redhead. Nice, too.
What happened to her? We haven't seen her
2 months ago, she got married to Benny Thrush.
What, this guy?
Who's just been killed?
According to what I've heard from my private sources, McCoy fell for Valerie hard. She's not the 2-timing sort, so McCoy didn't get anywhere. Now, it's my idea, Casey, that he killed Mr. Benny Thrush in order to have a clear field with Mrs. Benny Thrush.
Bat McCoy would do a thing like that.
And I'll give you a 10-to-1, Casey, that McCoy will throw a top-grade funeral for his ex-piano player and will officiate as chief mourner, all to make a hit with Mrs. Benny. Oh, nuts, and we cops can't do a single thing.
Not a pretty picture, Logan.
But fancy gangster funerals make good newspaper copy, Casey.
All right. Annie, you and I are going to attend that funeral.
Quite a crowd outside the undertaker's.
Yeah, funerals with murder victims always pull an overflow audience. Let's go.
We'll see the murderer inside, Casey. He'll be comforting the widow.
Yeah. McCoy had a perfect alibi, just as Logan figured. Cops couldn't do a thing with him.
Do you suppose that Valerie, Mrs. Thrush, knows that McCoy...
No, I doubt it. Of course, the cops haven't tipped her. Their hand by letting her know what they suspect. Hey, look at that. Logan's planted some of his undercover guys here.
Detectives?
Yeah, that big fellow in the gray suit. He's one.
I've never seen him before.
Well, he's new on the homicide squad. He's a nice guy, too.
Also young and very good looking.
Name's Throckmorton.
Throckmorton?
Clarence
Can't
Throckmorton.
be a cop named Clarence Throckmorton.
That's how the other cops feel about it. They call him Kansas. That's where he comes from. Wait, I'll introduce you. Hey, Kansas.
Huh? Oh, hello, Casey. Glad to see you.
And let me present Detective Throckmorton. Kansas. It's Miss Williams. She reports for the Express.
Pleased to know you, Miss Williams.
And to know you.
Logan's detailed you here to watch Bat McCoy, I suppose.
Yeah, the captain figures we just might hear or see something that will help us to get that skunk.
I doubt if you will.
Yes, so do I. You know, the widow of that murdered fellow is one of the prettiest little women I ever seen. She looks so nice.
Casey and I think she's very nice, Mrs. Throckmorton.
Hey, you talk like you know her.
Yeah, we knew her before she got married.
You did?
Yeah. She inside now?
No, reckon she'll show up here in a minute or two. Funeral procession's due to start pretty soon.
Yeah, I want to take some pictures before it starts. Annie, let's get inside.
Okay.
See you later, Kansas.
Yeah, sure. I'll be around.
Casey, the chapel's crowded.
It's crowded with rats. Most of the mourners are gorillas that work for McCoy.
Hey, you with that camera.
You talking to me?
Yeah. Get out. We ain't having no pictures taken.
I'm from the Morning Express.
I don't care where you're from.
What's
I said you...
going on there?
Hello, Bat.
Oh, Casey.
Bat, will you tell this muscle man of yours that I'd like a couple of shots of the coffin and flowers?
Yeah, it's okay, Pete.
All right.
Everybody clear away from the coffin. This fella's going to take a picture that'll be in the papers.
Thanks, Bat.
What do you say to the send-off I'm giving poor little Benny Thrush, huh? That bronze coffin alone set me back $5,000.
Looks like it cost that much.
Get a load of that full-size piano all made out of expensive flowers. Yeah. It's my going-away present to poor little Benny.
Who do you suppose made poor little Benny go way back?
I wished I knew, Casey. Say, get that flower piano in your picture. Benny's widow'd like it.
Yeah, I'll get it in. Does it? Say, isn't that Benny's widow coming in?
Yeah, I gotta go to the poor kid. She needs me to lean on.
Yeah. Come on, Annie. Let's you and me get to the widow, too.
She was terribly broken up, Casey.
How are you feeling today, Valerie?
I'm all right, Mr. McCoy.
Hello, Valerie.
Remember us? Oh, Miss Williams and Casey. Oh, I'm so glad to see you, too.
Hey, what, kid? We want to extend our sincerest sympathy.
If we can do anything for you, you just let us know. Oh, thank you both.
If Mrs. Thrush needs anything, she'll call on me. When did you people get to know each other?
Quite a while ago, Pat. Valerie, the paper's running a spread on your husband's funeral. Do you mind if I shoot a picture of you?
All right, Casey. Take your picture.
Thank you. Just stand as you are. That's right. Hold it. Got it. Thank you.
Hey, boss.
Yeah?
The undertaker just told me the preacher's here. If you want to say a few words before the church guy begins.
Of course I'm going to say some words about my pal, Benny. I ain't going to let this little lady's husband be stuck into the ground without I tell the world how much I thought of him. Come with me, Valerie.
Boy, Anita, rats and rats. That McCoy's the worst.
The same thing you are, Casey. Isn't there some way to make that louse pay for what he's done and wants to do?
Mind if I stand here with you? Huh? Oh, that had me, Kansas.
That McCoy's about to deliver a eulogy, Mrs. Throckmorton.
Yeah, I came inside here to listen. Ain't she the prettiest little woman? Who? Well, the widow, Mrs. Benny Thrush. Oh, yeah.
Pipe down, everybody. Bat McCoy's going to say a few words.
Guess we got to hear.
Yeah, tell that guy at the organ we had enough out of him. Folks, with tears in my eyes, I stand before you to speak a last goodbye to my pal.
Yes, sir. Prettiest little woman I ever seen.
Benny Thrush was like a brother. To his widow and to all of you, I ain't ashamed to say, I love this guy. Who lays here now, Sir Stephen Cole.
She's a nice woman, too.
Friends, my pal Benny was a sweet character. Folks who don't know me say I'm hard-boiled and tough. But you see a guy before you.
Pat McCoy talked over that coffin for almost an hour about how much he thought of the late Benny Thrush, huh, Casey?
That's right, Ethelbert.
And was it hard to take?
I can sure imagine, Miss Williams. It's a dirty shame the cops can't do anything. 3 killings. I guess to make a case, the cops would have to find the gun practically right in his murdering hands, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Man, there ain't much chance of him doing that.
But one chance in a million, I guess. Ethelbert, tell the waiter to bring me some coffee, will you?
Okay, Miss Williams?
Yeah, please.
Will you have that coffee on me? What? Kansas,
Mr. Throckmorton.
Hello, Miss Williams. Casey, the folks at your office told me I'd probably find you here at this Blue Note Cafe.
You were looking for me, Kansas?
Yeah.
Say, Ethelbert, shake hands with Detective Throckmorton.
Detective Throck? This is the first time I ever met a cop by the name of Throckmorton. It's kind of funny.
This is the first time I ever met a bartender by the name of Ethelbert.
Hey, what's funny about that?
Yes, say, Casey, that was a mighty fine picture you took at the funeral yesterday. I saw it in this morning's paper.
Yeah, that shot of the coffin and McCoy's floral piano did turn out pretty good.
Oh, that picture. Yeah.
Which picture are you talking about?
Oh, well, Miss Williams, I know this ain't very polite, but do you mind if I take Casey out the side door there for a minute? It's a private police business.
No, go ahead. I don't mind at all.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. If you don't mind, Casey.
No, I'm right with you, Kansas. No one will hear us out here now. What's it all about?
Why, Casey, I'm going to ask you a big favor.
Huh?
That fine picture of Benny Thrush's widow is in the paper.
Oh, that was the picture that you...
Yeah, that was... Well, now, will you make me a print of it, Casey? Like, that goes into frame.
Well, sure I will. Yeah, but why do you cops want it?
Well, us cops don't want it. Only me.
Well, you?
Yeah, this is a personal, Casey.
Oh. Guess I'm a little slow. You like the widow's looks, huh?
I ain't gonna lie to you. She's the prettiest little woman I ever did see.
Yeah, wait a minute. Have you gotten acquainted with her yet?
No, but I was just thinking, if it ain't asking you too much, will you introduce me someday all formal and proper like?
Hey, look, Kansas. Hasn't anybody told you that Bat McCoy suspected of bumping off Valerie's husband so he could make a wedding march play for the widow?
Well, all of us cops suspect that.
And you want to try to cut in on that kill?
Casey, when I get afeard of skunks, I'll resign from the police department.
Well, that's the way you feel. I'll get you acquainted with Mrs. Thrush tomorrow.
Casey, I won't ever be able to pay you for this big favor.
You've already paid me, Kansas. Yeah, should give me an idea. Well, look, our coffee's getting cold, Kansas. Guess we better get back inside.
Yeah.
Oh, say. That's Bill Cullen talking to Miss Williams. Hey, come on over. I'll introduce you.
All right.
Well, back again?
Hello, Bill. Bill, I want you to meet the new detective on the police force, Clarence Throckmorton.
Clarence Throckmorton?
Don't say it. Just call me Kansas, Bill.
Fair enough, Kansas. You can call Bill Curly.
Oh, now, Ann, what have I done to deserve that nickname?
You see, Kansas, we always tease Bill about having an eye for curly-headed women.
Oh, me too, Mr. Cullen. Nothing I admire like real naturally curly hair. Except maybe real natural curly blonde hair.
You better watch out, Ethelbert. You can be fooled, you know. Today you just can't tell which is the girl with the natural curl and which is the girl with the Tony. Many a girl with a Tony has been asked if she had naturally curly hair. That's because gentle Tony waves actually look and feel like naturally curly hair. Those lovely deep waves comb into place so easily the soft ringlet ends curl around your finger. There's no harshness, no frizzy stage to live through when you have a Tony. Because even on the very first day, a Tony wave looks soft and lustrous and natural. You can give yourself a Tony tomorrow, and tomorrow night have hair so lovely, people will think you were born with a natural wave. Just remember, only Tony gives you this twin guarantee. Your Tony wave is guaranteed to last just as long as the most expensive wave you've ever had. And your Tony is guaranteed to look more natural or your money back. So it's no wonder more than 2 million women each month choose Tony Home Permanent.
More than 2 million?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of women.
Yes, each month another 2 million women have lovely, long-lasting Tony waves. How about you?
Casey, I don't like your idea at all.
Yeah, but it's beginning to work, Logan. Sooner than I expected, too. It's just a couple of months since I introduced Kansas to Valerie Thrush, but the guy is so honestly crazy about it that I think she's already gotten that way about him. And what's more important, Bat McCoy has found out about it. Boy, is he burning.
I know McCoy's sore. The men I have tailing him report that he followed Kansas home last night and took a very thoughtful gander at the windows of the house.
Well, that's swell. He's getting ready to pull something.
Yeah. If he follows his standard grudge murder pattern, he's getting ready to pull that 30-30 out of his hiding place.
Which is exactly what we want.
We want to find that rifle in McCoy's hands, Casey, and we want to find him attempting another murder with it, but we don't want him to commit that murder.
Look, I've got that all figured out, Logan, and I got the answers.
Yeah?
Now, look. We're almost certain now that McCoy is planning to rub out Kansas. And it's 1,000 to 1 that he'll make the try in his usual way.
His usual successful way.
Yes, but this time, we pick the time and the place.
Well, if we can do it.
We can. The time will be tomorrow night and the place, Mrs. Thrush's apartment.
Mrs. Thrush's apartment?
She lives on the first floor with nice big windows facing the street, Logan. Now, McCoy, watching from a parked car across the street, is going to see something in that apartment that'll make him use that 30-30.
You're going to arrange for the killer to be there and see things.
Uh-huh. And you'll be hiding close enough to nab him with the goods.
Mind giving me the complete details?
I'll be very glad to, pal, and even a dumb cop like yourself will see what a cinch this is going to be.
Tell the dumb cop more.
Okay, now listen. Kansas knows he's in danger from Bat, but he doesn't know that we've deliberately planned to set him up as a decoy.
Excuse me, you deliberately
All
planned.
right, okay, I've deliberately planned. We'll come clean with Kansas tomorrow morning and give him the whole setup.
You mean you'll come clean with him?
All right, I'll come clean. Now, look, Valerie so far doesn't know a thing. She doesn't even suspect that McCoy gave her husband the works. But we need plenty of cooperation from her now, Logan. So I am going to her apartment this evening, give her the complete picture. and tell her what she has to do to help us.
Before you continue, you're sure she will help us?
Well, of course she will. Sure. She'll even thank me for the chance to do it. Well, Valerie, that's the whole story, full and complete.
It's been a pretty horrible story, Mr. Casey. I simply can't believe that you and the police have suspected all along that Bat McCoy killed my husband because of me.
Yeah, kid. Now I've told you how that you can help us to make him pay for what he did.
You've told me a lot of things, but some of them you've tried to cover up.
Huh?
Kansas. Mr. Clarence Throckmorton. You brought him here. He was nice to me. He made me like him, trust him. Not because he liked me, but because you and he wanted the glory of solving a crime.
Hey, Valerie,
I don't want to hear another word from you. All right, Mr. Casey. Yeah. I'll help the law catch the killer of my husband. When Bat McCoy phones me this evening, as he always does, I'll make a date with him for tomorrow night. Then, later, I'll break it and let him know that Mr. Throckmorton will be here in his place. I'll do everything you've asked me to. But I never want to see you again, Mr. Casey.
Well, Valerie, listen.
Get out of this house.
But, Valerie...
Get out! And tell Mr. Clarence Throckmorton that I hate him. I hate him. I hate him. I hate him.
So, Mrs. Benny Thrush didn't thank you for the chance to help us, Casey.
She practically threw me out of her apartment, Logan. Yeah, but she did promise to do what I asked her, though.
Her help won't do any good unless you get full cooperation from Kansas, and he isn't going to feel too friendly when he hears how you've wrecked his romance.
Well, let me worry about that.
Okay. Maybe you better worry a little about selling him on the job he's got to do tomorrow night.
That won't be any trouble at all.
We'll see in just an hour from now when he reports here at my office.
No, Captain Logan, I won't have no part of this scheme of Casey's. Valerie might get hurt.
Look, she'll be 100% safe, Kansas.
That's what you say.
Sure, Kansas, this scheme is foolproof.
It don't sound that way to me.
Logan, will you convince this chump?
Me, Casey?
Now, look here, it's time to stop kidding and needling each other. We're out to get a 3-time killer, aren't we?
Yes, we are. And I think your scheme is sound. Detective Throckmorton.
Yes, Captain?
Now, this is an order. You'll do exactly as Casey has requested.
I won't do it, sir.
You won't?
No, sir.
You know what that means?
Yes, sir. Here's my gun. Here's my shield.
Well, now, look here, man. When you joined the force, you assumed a duty. You can't just...
I never assumed no duty of putting a woman in bad danger, and I am quit. I'm no longer a cop.
You're going to Valerie's apartment to persuade her right now?
Yeah, right now.
Oh, I've seen enough of women to know that you might persuade her, and I'm not giving you the chance.
Casey!
I feel like a skunk for hitting him, Logan. It's the only way to save our plan.
Oh, chump! This KO you handed him won't last more than a minute or two.
It's long enough to put him in charge of your police surgeon.
Police?
Yes, sure, under medical observation for the next several hours.
Casey, what do
Look,
you...
have the doc strap into a bed, will you, in your emergency hospital here at headquarters, and keep him there until after we do our stuff tonight.
I can't pull a phony like that.
If you don't, we lose our chance to get McCoy, Logan. Everything's set. Can't let Kansas spoil it.
Kansas is the guy McCoy wants to kill.
Kansas and I are the same size. We got the same color hair. If I put on his clothes and McCoy sees only my back...
You?
Sure. From across the street, he'll be certain that I'm Kansas.
Okay, Casey.
Right.
I'll get the doc and give him his orders. But is Kansas going to be sore at you?
Yeah, he'll be sore at me. Valerie is sore at me. Uh-oh. Just thought of more trouble. The gimmick of our scheme is that McCoy's going to see Kansas and Valerie pull a hot Hollywood kiss.
You don't think she'll do it with you?
No, what I'm worried about is that Ann Williams will be with you tonight, Logan.
So what?
Well, she's on an out-of-town assignment right now. I can't get hold of her to explain my substituting for Kansas. And if things aren't explained before she finds out that I'm the guy that she'll be seeing making woo-woo with Valerie, well, he's going to get the wrong idea.
Hey, that is possible.
Well, it's a certainty.
Think no more about it, Casey. When she meets me tonight, I'll explain everything.
Logan, I depend on that.
Well, of course.
Don't always trust you in personal matters.
Well, now, if that isn't a fine thing to say to a pal.
Are
You're sure Bat McCoy is in that sedan, Captain Logan?
Positive, Miss Williams. McCoy's in the back seat.
Watching those windows across the street as we are.
You and Bat are watching those windows. I'm keeping my eyes mostly on that sedan, watching for the end of a rifle barrel to make its appearance.
Well, you'll have to move awfully fast if and when it does. If McCoy has a chance to fire at Kansas
My men
Head...
and I are prepared to move fast, Miss Williams.
Well, of course, McCoy can't do anything until Kansas shows himself behind one of those windows again.
What's that to do there?
Why, it's just 1 minute to 9.
He'll show himself in 1 minute, then.
This was Casey's scheme. He must know the time you and Kansas set.
Sure, Casey knows.
Well, then why isn't he here?
As I've told you, he said he'd join us in time to get pictures.
Well, where do you suppose he is?
No idea. Only 30 seconds now. Watch that window on the right, Miss Williams.
Yeah, I am. Kansas and Valerie have been out of sight all this time. You think they've been mixing romance with business, Captain?
Could be. You know how it is when a guy and a gal get together.
And Valerie's a beautiful gal.
Any man could fall for a gal like Valerie. Those redheads are dynamite.
So I've heard. Captain, I see Valerie behind that window now. And Kansas with his back toward us.
Watch that car, man.
Right, yeah.
Oh. What they're doing behind that window. Is that five-star embrace part of the script, Captain?
Yeah. That guy is really putting personality into it.
I'll say. And apparently he's done a lot of rehearsing.
Sure looks that way, Miss Williams.
Oh, they're breaking it up now.
This ought to be it, man. McCoy wouldn't hurt the girl, but now he can line his sights on the guy.
It is it. He fired that right. Get him, man.
Why did you wait so long? Why'd you give him the chance to shoot? He's killed Kansas.
We got the rat, Captain. That gun's still in his midst. The driver of his car, too.
You dirty cop, you framed me.
You framed yourself, McCoy, and right into the hot seat.
Why did you let him shoot, Captain? Why'd you let him kill Kansas?
He hasn't killed anyone tonight, Miss Williams.
But I saw him.
All you saw and all McCoy saw was the reflection of a man and woman in a specially placed mirror.
Mirror?
When Valerie and her boyfriend seemed to be directly behind that window, they were really in another part of the room where a bullet from out here couldn't possibly hit them.
Oh.
Hey, Logan, you're standing in front of McCoy. Move away. I want his picture.
Oh, Casey.
Yeah, hello, Annie. There's one shot, and I'll take another one.
Well, Casey, that gray suit you have on.
Yeah, Kansas's clothes fit me okay, don't they, Annie?
Kansas's clothes?
Yeah, hold it for another picture, will you, boys? That does it.
You were the man we've been watching in that apartment.
I'll get sure.
Oh, you double-crosser.
Logan. Didn't you explain?
Oh, I'm such a dumb cop, Casey. I forgot.
You double-crosser.
Good night.
Annie, where are you going?
I've a story to phone to the paper, Mr. Casey.
Yeah, but wait for me, will you?
I'm not going your way. Ever again.
Annie, you gotta listen.
Good night, pal.
I'll fix you for this, Logan. Just you wait. Annie!
For soft water shampooing, use Tony Cream Shampoo. Even in the hardest water, Tony Cream Shampoo.
Yes, even in the hardest water, Tony Cream Shampoo gives soft water shampooing that rinses away dandruff instantly. Leaves hair so soft, so smooth, so shining clean. Today, bring out the sparkling beauty of your hair with Tony Cream Shampoo. Get the handy tube or jar. Tony Cream Shampoo. It's for you.
Miss Williams ain't even speaking to you, huh, Casey?
No. I guess she's off me for life, Ethelbert.
That was certainly a dirty trick that Logan played.
Well, I can't blame him, really. I've stuck the needle into him so many times.
That's so.
Well, you don't have to agree with me.
Gee, and you're also in wrong with Mrs. Valerie Thrush and Detective Throckmorton.
Yeah, plenty.
They tell me that Throckmorton is the best two-fisted fighter in the department. They say he spends a couple hours every day in the gymnasium. And you do most of your training leaning on this bar, Casey. Still in all, it ought to be a fight worth watching.
Will you shut up?
Why, Casey? Uh-oh. Well, here's Detective Throckmorton now.
Kansas?
Yeah, Miss Williams and Mrs. Valerie Thrush are with him.
Wait, all together?
And all looking very mean.
Yeah, I see.
Hello, Casey.
Hello, Kansas.
Hello, Casey.
Glad to see you, Annie.
Hello, Mr. Casey.
Hi. Good evening, Mrs. Thrush.
We've been looking for you.
Yes. And now we found you.
Now, look here.
You socked me after trying to turn Valerie against
Now, listen, Kansas.
You listen to us.
You really hit Kansas and had him locked up so you could take his place, Casey.
Annie, I
You've
swear.
double-crossed all of us, Casey.
I'm not going to take any more of
You're
this.
taking plenty more. Shall I give it to you here, or will you step outside?
Come on outside, Kansas. I tried to give the three of you honest explanations, and you haven't even listened to me. Come on outside.
Oh, Casey, let me give it to you here.
Huh?
Let him, Casey.
Yes, Valerie and I want to watch.
So do I, Casey. What is it?
Here, pal. I'm giving you first look at the engagement ring I've just bought Valerie.
And I'm giving you this kiss for bringing Kansas and me together.
Yeah.
Hey, now give me a chance, Valerie.
Annie? Annie. You double-crossers.
I'm another, Casey.
Logan. Hello, pal.
And me too, Casey.
You were in this too, Ethelbert?
Uh-huh. And, now what'll it be, ladies and gentlemen? Casey, this celebration will be on you.
Crime Photographer, starring Stotts Cotsworth as Casey, is produced and directed by John Dietz. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole and is based on the fictional character of Flash Gun Casey, created by George Harmon Cox. Original music by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Jan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison is the Blue Note pianist. This is Bill Cullen asking you to listen again next week at this same time to another exciting adventure of Crime Photographer. And also inviting you to listen to this is Nora Drake, radio's thrilling serial romance, heard every Monday through Friday over most of these stations. Consult your local newspaper for the exact time. Both of these programs brought you each week by Tony Home Permanent, the wave that gives that natural look, and the new Tony Cream Shampoo for soft water shampooing even in the hardest water. And now stay tuned for the Hallmark Playhouse starring Richard Widmark in Enchanted Cottage, which follows immediately over most of these CBS stations. This is CBS, where 99 million people gather every week, the Columbia Broadcasting System.